Morning. We got the Perfect Strangers theme song kicking now. DC, Carlton. Beth.
All right, you're up.
Early dedication this morning. Perfect Strangers theme song. This one goes out to Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, Braves fans everywhere that had to watch that travesty in the ninth inning last night. Bucks fans that are off to an 0-1 start in the NBA Finals. If you can't feel better with a little harmonica in your life on a Wednesday morning, I think that should help. Welcome in. Hope your Wednesday morning's off to a good start. You know who's feeling pretty good right now? I feel like Aaron Rodgers might have been playing this in his golf cart yesterday at the match. Dude, that guy, he was too good at golf yesterday. It was unbelievable. DeChambeau was all over the place, just smacking it around, just crushing it, but not being able to find it. And then you got, how is the quarterback who said he's played 8 rounds this year, the consistent guy at the match? It's just a beautiful scene for golf up in Montana. I think that's really the big takeaway. Gentlemen, if you caught any of the match yesterday, that Montana is pretty beautiful, and that course was pretty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, insane. Was Rodgers the best of all the quarterbacks that have done it so far? He's better than Manning and Brady?
Well, I think that he actually came in probably the worst, and just played the best. He hardly missed a putt yesterday. He at one point they used 6 to 7 of his drives. It was just ridiculous, and the way he handles it as well. Yes, I told you guys yesterday going in. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not a Bryson DeChambeau fan. I was actually pulling for Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady because I just don't like Bryson DeChambeau. And yesterday was just kind of further proof. I can't articulate it, but how Aaron Rodgers handles things. Yeah, there is some swagger, some arrogance to it, but I like it for some reason. And just the way that I guess DeChambeau just comes off as trying too hard, I think is what it is.
He's the total opposite of Rodgers. Because Rodgers,
right.
It bothers people how little he cares. And Bryson is just trying so hard to be the cool guy.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
He perceives that other people think the cool guy is supposed to act like. It's terrible.
Just to hear Rodgers one time, there was one interaction that just summed up the entire 5-hour match for me. And it was, I think Rodgers had made a putt, but DeChambeau was telling him exactly how to do it, and Mickelson was just egging him on. Tell us about the process and how it goes and the whole thing. And Bryson just kept going afterwards. And Rodgers was just in his cart, and DeChambeau pulls off, and Rodgers just gives him the old crazy sign. And then he explains it later. He's like, no, I understand. It's a lot of information. I tell my coaches all the time, overcomplicating things doesn't mean necessarily that you're making things better. So I appreciated the old match yesterday, and watching a moose or two, a bear or two over there in Montana, a 777 par 5, 770-yard par 5 that DeChambeau and Rodgers were hitting an 8-iron driver 8-iron into. So ridiculous, but it was a fun little match. That's what had most of my attention last night. Bill, what about you?
I watched a good bit of that. I don't know. You guys are being hard on DeChambeau this morning, man. I thought he played to who he was. I think he was.
I think he said that even during the match, and that's another thing that I absolutely
didn't like.
Like everybody's getting a bad rap.
I thought he was playing to who he was. He's trying to have a good time. It was a really good. I don't know, the golf in and of itself, there was some really good shots, but like as far as a TV event goes and being able to see personalities, that was actually kind of fun. I like the people they were bringing on people throughout the match, throughout the round, and having interviews. Baker Mayfield comes on, they're making fun of him a little bit. I actually, that was actually pretty enjoyable for the amount that I watched, and not because of the actual golf, but because of just personalities and just almost being a television show and not a sporting event, if that makes any sense. Just seeing the personalities. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers. They're kind of making fun of him about whether I would assume it was making fun, but about whether he'll be the quarterback in Green Bay next year. You got Mickelson kind of poking Aaron Rodgers a little bit there. What was it? 15, 16, 7. I might have been 16, I think. 17, 16, 17, where he said, it's 4th and 3. We're down 8. We can't play it safe. We got to go for it.
Yeah, not kicking the field goal. Going for it.
Whatever,
Sure.
I forget what hole it was. 15. It might have been 16. But anyway, and then Aaron Rodgers drains it. They missed their putt, and Aaron Rodgers drains it. I don't know. It was neat to watch personalities. And then I tell you what, man, the scenery. I'm over there going like, all right, guess I got to go to Montana now and check out the scenery there. Like I have a buddy that's been out there and done some hunting, and I was watching it and was just kind of blown away by some of the views and stuff, because that's a part of the country I've never been to. So I thought it was a neat little event. And I told you guys on the live stream, we ended up, kids wanted to watch Luka again last night. So that was the extent of my my evening plan. So it was the match, some tilapia tacos, and then Luka. So that was the extent. I didn't even get into the NBA Finals last night. Just couldn't even get around to watching it.
I flipped over. Wasn't really worth watching. I was hoping it would get close. I think they cut it to 9 at one point there in the fourth quarter. The Bucks did to try to make it a game, but it never got too interesting there. And Chris Paul with a heck of a first-round game. And the Phoenix Suns now 3 wins away from their first ever NBA championship as the NBA Finals kicks off last night, or tips off last night. The big-time news that caught my eye that I think has the application to us is that Miami Hurricanes football players have been offered $500 per month per player by a local gym whose owner says he wants to show that, well, first of all, he thinks it's a good investment. I think the final investment would be like $540,000 or something like that if every player took him up on that. And then he wants to show the players that the town is behind the program. Bill, did you see this story? What do you make of that? And, if any kind of effect do you think it has on a Gamecock football player reading that headline?
I'm interested to see where this goes. $45,000 is the yearly commitment. Is it the yearly commitment? I guess that's
no, $540,000.
Yeah, excuse me. It's $45,000 a month. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, $500 in the grand scheme of things is not a huge deal. But I think that what caught me off guard is it's to the 90 scholarship players, which I also, by the way, thought it was at 85. I've been trying to figure this out for since I read the story to understand how we arrived at 90. But nonetheless, this is what a lot of people thought might happen. Again, I'm interested to hear takes on this, because big picture, $500 is not a lot, right? Like that's
a
cool.
month it is.
I think anyone.
Well, no, guys.
Anyone.
People were talking about these kids making millions of dollars off of name, image, likeness. $500 a month, big picture. I get what you're saying. Yeah, nobody's turning down an extra $500 a month. What this is more about is this one guy, Dan Lambert, who owns is it Total Gym? It's a if I read it correctly, it's a UFC type gym. American.
It can't just be one gym, right?
American Top Team. It's like a home training facility for a bunch of fighters, MMA guys like Jorge Masvidal and Amanda Nunes.
He's got to have multiple locations, right? What is this Globo Gym make it?
Yeah,
just raking in.
No, it is a chain. You're right.
Globo Gym. And that
breaking out some dodgeball this morning.
Yeah,
well, I mean, yeah, for a gym, like you just own one gym and you're able to shell out $500,000 a year for basically nothing. I mean,
No,
making a
it's a
lot of
chain.
money. Yeah.
Bill, what's your point here?
I'm interested. It's not so much him doing this for the players, it's the plan he has that he wants to implement, calling Bring Back the U. That to me is where he's trying to rally support from local businesses. He wants to get basically, he's the tip of the iceberg. He's leading this is where I think it gets interesting because again, we're talking about these kids. We were talking about the gymnasts, the female basketball players for Fresno State, like people that are going to certain athletes that will make legitimate money on this. $500 is look again, Patrick. You just pointed out, college kids aren't going to turn down $500. That's a nice little chunk for a month. It's not necessarily what I think everybody was kind of predicting with tens of thousands of dollars, but what I'm fascinated by here is his plan to rally other businesses to basically pay Miami athletes or Miami Hurricane athletes. That's where I find it fascinating. Does that come to fruition? Is he able to get all these other businesses in? He's talking about hosting fundraisers and charity events to basically give money back to those businesses almost to help them pay for it. This is where we go down a very interesting boulevard here, and it's going to start with the University of Miami to get it going, and it's something that, to my knowledge, is not illegal right now. This is using name, image, likeness to your benefit.
No, and the owner of the gym, his name is Dan Lambert, actually hired an attorney who helped craft Florida's state law for name, image, and likeness. And the owner of the gym, the direct quote is, there are improper ways of fans supporting their players, and now there's a legal way to do it. And if there's a legal way, you can dot the I's and cross the T's. I'm going to do it. Like you said, it's not just this $500 a month for the Miami gym for the Hurricanes football players to endorse. It's the fact that this gym owner has started a corporation called Bring Back the U that is solely focused on putting money in the pockets. You said Miami athletes. It's just Miami players. That's all he's looking to do. He's trying to, there's another quote in here in the article I'm reading off ESPN.com. I want to help the kids. I want to reward them for what they do, and I want a better product on the field too. I want to improve the reputation of the school and the team so much. I think it's a cool opportunity to get involved and make a difference.
No, get to the big quote. There's a big quote in here that is straight college football. It is what it's all about. You guys have seen that one?
Go ahead.
This is Dan Lambert. This is his words, not mine. He says, "I'm not looking to profit from this. I want to try to bring people together and make our team better. I've got too many Gator and Seminole friends that have been bleeping on me for the last 20 years. I want to reverse it."
That is college football.
That right there. He's not looking to profit. He doesn't care. 540,000 or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about the U. I think there's a song about that. And that right there is where this is. Remember, I told you last week. I said for the opening of this because it's not regulated very well. It's going to be like the Wild West out here. Is they try and figure out what exactly you're going to have to come back in with across the board. At some point, I don't know when, but you're going to have to come back in with across the board regulation on what you can and can't do. And I don't know how they're going to do that. The Pandora's box is open, and again, I'd like to be perfectly clear on this. I don't think this is the end of college sports. So I know there are some out there that are going, "This is it. Here we go. This is college sports is coming to an end." But I think you're going to get stuff like this here for 1, 2, 3 years until the NCAA can figure out how to or what regulations are put in place for everything, because it's all brand new. This guy, the NCAA didn't act. They waited around, and here's where we're at now.
Somewhere Luther Campbell is smiling, Gene says. I'm guessing you can guess that was right there in South Florida, right there in Miami. Gene is hitting us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line at 803-404-6100. Miami Gym offering $500 per player for Hurricane football players has us spinning. I think has the college football world spinning about what might happen next. I think is the point of yesterday's story out of Miami. Let's get right to the Love Chevy phone lines. Get into it this morning. Love to hear from you. Again, the same number for the text line and the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Scott starts us off this morning. Hey, Scott.
Hey guys, good morning. It's interesting and it's funny because and Bill I think said it. It's only $500, and this is Miami where they like to talk about it, show their bling and everything else. But the reality is this, and this is where people are kind of missing the boat. Number one, what's going to happen when Title IX comes after that gym for not including them in this opportunity, which is going to happen. And then the other side of that is this: it's only $500. But if people are smart about it and they actually get 10 of these businesses, now all of a sudden that kid's making a lot more money. And $500 a month for some of these big corporations that are in these big towns that have the ability to do this. And you think about the oil guys out in Texas and what they can sling around for name, image, and likeness. I mean, you can have a football player that's playing the offensive line that's making $5,000 a month in endorsements. That's a big deal for some of these guys. And if they market themselves the correct way and these corporations don't get mouthy about it like these guys in Miami to where the NCAA has to think about how to do this, I mean, at the end of the day, they could be 20 of these businesses giving $500 a month to these football players. It's going to be interesting to see where this all goes, and especially with the other sports. They're not going to put up with it, and they're going to go after these folks for discriminating against them.
Help me out with that last part there, Scott. When you own a private business, you can determine who wants to endorse.
But can you discriminate against another? That's where, like I said, I don't know. I don't know the legal implications there or whatever else. I just know that
the answer is yes. The answer
women's
is
basketball isn't going to put up with that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I mean, I hear you. The answer is yes, but it hasn't went through a court battle yet. You know, we didn't always have to have the same amount of scholarship athletes until it went to court, and now you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting how this will all play out, or how this all will explode, and college football might not be existing anymore. It may just end up being a semi-pro league.
Thanks for the phone call, Scott. What were you saying, Bill?
Well, no, I mean that's just rules of business there, and there's a part to it where, again, I don't think he's wrong on if you're I mean, don't just put it on the women. What if you're a Miami basketball player? What if you're a Miami baseball player? What if you're a Miami track and field athlete? And you're looking over and you're going, well, only the football player is getting paid. No, but that's the way it is right now. And I'm not sure how they're going to come in. There will have to be regulation from.
That's the way it already is. Like, if you go to Kansas, you're going to say, wow, these basketball facilities are incredible, but they don't put any resources into the football program. So why want to come play football here? Now it's just different where they're actually getting the money. So it's already happening. It's just going to the money's just being funneled to a different person.
But I think, his big picture is, and again, I think the big picture on this is, yeah, and what he said about the oil money in Texas for the University of Texas, for Texas A&M, if Houston wants to make a push. I mean, if you're Houston, I don't know what the demographics of that university are like in terms of alumni. What I know is they're not a Power 5 school, but if they ever wanted to make a push to be a Power 5 school and start bringing in the big time athletes, I mean, that's interesting to me if you ever see expansion. But man, it's again, the big picture on this $540,000 a year, and my man has come out publicly and said, I don't really care if I profit. This is not about me profiting. This is strictly about Miami getting back to being the U and us dominating people and me not having to put up with Gators and Seminoles right now. Like that, I mean, in the quote, he says, I'm willing to pay $540,000. I mean, this is being the owner of a team. He is being the owner of a team here.
He's still marketing. I mean, people in Miami are going to know who he is, and they're going to know about his gym now, and he's getting lots of attention dollars out of it. So it's
Well,
not
but
just
he
completely
had-
selfless.
He had two pretty big athletes already associated with his gym. Tim, yeah, I'm Amanda Nunez. I can pronounce that one. Jorge, I thought it was Masvidal. Is it Masvidal?
Masvidal.
All right. I mean, Patrick, he had two pretty big professional athletes that I think fit the. I don't know enough about this gym. I really have never
Well, they're
studied
fighters,
it
and
until or
it's-
heard of.
yeah.
Well, my point is, it sounds like it's not like going to Move Fitness down the road where I'm in the sauna and I'm doing a little bit of cardio and pumping the iron for.
No, it's
for
like going to
30
9
minutes.
round, probably.
Yeah, this it sounds like he had two really good endorsements from really good athletes at the UFC level that fit what he's going for in the gym. Like, you don't have me showing up at his gym to say, "Hey, buddy, you got a sauna in here and maybe some cardio equipment?" Like, it sounds like when you go to that gym, you're in there and you're training with a boxing ring or a UFC octagon.
Yeah, but I think the point in the really interesting part about this is the motivation, right? As opposed to being a legit endorser of a business. Like, we've seen a few Gamecock football players announce that they're joining up with this PSD underwear. And those are the only deals that I've seen. We saw Arkansas offensive lineman being endorsed by a local barbecue joint, I think, in Fayetteville. Those seem to be a different category than a Miami guy starting a corporation that says back the U to pay football players to get the best football players in because he's tired of his Florida State and Florida Gator friends having some bragging rights on him. It's fascinating in so many ways, for sure. Jim hits us up on the Facebook live stream, says college sports are over as we know it. Papa Joe, similar sentiments. This is the end of amateur athletics, and please get off my lawn. Danny says it's going to get to the point where kids will choose where to go depending on how much money they get instead of the program. And to all of those things, I will say, yeah, that's what college athletics in the big time have been in a lot of ways for a lot of years. And I mean, did we not have LSU basketball coach Will Wade talking about a strong offer? Have him on tape, and he still has his job. A strong offer. Well, what did we think that meant? Are we that naive? No, none of us are that naive to think that didn't include some shady dealings. I'm glad now that we got a name, we got a motivation, we have a dollar amount out there with Miami, and it's out there. And Bill, I agree with your general point that the NCAA is going to have to do something to rein this in. And it's, to me, I have no sympathy for the NCAA not having figured out a way to avoid this right now. And good for Dan Lambert. Good for Miami players. But if you think that the best players are now only going to go to the programs where they feel like they're in the best situation, they've always done that. Now it will include their bank account looking a lot better during college than it has before. I got no problem with that in general. I know there are a lot of complications that go with it, though. We'll continue to discuss this morning. Love to hear more thoughts from you at 803-404-6100. Bill's sitting, facing us, his camera. We also get the sunrise over Lake Murray right now off his shoulder. Looking good there on the Facebook, YouTube live stream, up on Twitter as well. The station handles at 1075 The Game, where you can find the video live stream sponsored by Buford Lending. Also, the website as usual, the app, 1075thegame.com, the audio stream that is, and then the old regular FM dial, however you're tuning us in this morning. Glad you're a part of the show. It's the early game. It's 1075 The Game.
This is South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM Eastover.
Oh, speaking of sitting here with the beautiful sunrise, makes you happy, have a cup of coffee. About the same feeling you get when you save a little money when you refinance your mortgage payment. That's right. And with the Mortgage Guru team of Jacob Crowder and Brian Kovar, now is the time to do it. Give them a phone call today, 803-719-1005. You can email them the letter J Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com is the way to do that. You've heard me talking about it. These interest rates are low. Now is the time to make a move. And the question is, have you looked at your mortgage statement, just seeing what's on there, what interest rates you're paying? maybe how much equity you've accumulated into your house, how much you might be able to get back if you refinance, maybe pay off a credit card, put yourself in a better financial situation. All these things you can find out if you just give the Mortgage Guru a call today. 803-719-1005. Again, as Jacob and Brian in particular likes to say, don't get caught watching the paint dry, which means don't miss a golden opportunity to refinance, to save a little money, maybe improve your financial standing right now by taking advantage of the interest rates that are available. 803-719-1005. He's the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Yep, that sun's coming up behind me.
Gorgeous.
Did a little fishing yesterday. Did not catch a fish. Enjoy the view. I'll be right back.
Morning, Anthony. Chris. Trey, I don't know about that, man. I think there will be a lot of news as well about kids using it for good things. And hey, man, there have been football players getting in trouble as long as there have been football players. And I don't mean to discriminate against football players. There are college kids that are going to make more decisions, and I don't think the odds of that just grows exponentially now that money is involved necessarily.
Yeah, I mean,
legit money.
Like the Kerryon Joyner is older than John Morant, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like John Morant's got $50 million or something. I don't know what his bank account says right now, but
right.
That's nothing new.
And is Morant one of the owners of this underwear company? I think he is, isn't he?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's the underwear company where Baker took that picture with Baker Mayfield took that picture.
Oh,
with
yeah?
Tiger. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like jerseys that have the number in the crotch area.
All right. I did not see that.
You know what I'm talking about, right? With Baker and the Tiger?
I know what you're talking about. I know that. I know that. I saw that. I remember what was that? That was like right when he first came out.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was his rookie year or right after they got Odell and we thought they were going to be awesome.
I was just going for some brim or crappie yesterday. I was just fishing. I need to go get some more cut bait today. Go for some catfish. I didn't fish very long. I was kind of messing around, and then I walked back over and I saw the match was on, sitting right behind me. I got the chairs here. Sit there in the afternoon. My daughter was sitting out there with me. We were just kind of hanging out. One of the neighbors was fishing, so I threw a pole right out there. But there's a bunch of that, I don't know, the weeds or whatever that's growing. We need to see if we can get DNR or someone over here to spray in the off season. And cut down on so if anybody knows, anybody affiliated with DNR that might be able to help us out, this is where I'll use the live stream because it's really bad over there, right around the docks. you say that stuff. I guess you're talking about the I want to call it seaweed, but I don't know what's a better term to call it. But yeah, it's not good. You can't. Not a lot of fun to swim out there. It gets into the jet ski engine. Apparently, there's a spray they have that DNR has that during the off season when the water drops down, they can spray, and it kind of goes down and kills it. But apparently, you need to know somebody to get them out here. So we'll work on that. But no fish yesterday. Of course, like I said, I didn't fish very long. I need to go. I'd like to do some catfish fishing today or tomorrow. Fish off the dock. I need to make a decision what I'm going to do with this. I haven't looked at the updated weather forecast. I need to make a decision on the boat. But this hurricane coming in, or what is it? Is it still a hurricane?
It was never a hurricane.
Tropical storm, sir.
It was a hurricane. It turned into a hurricane, but it got demoted back to a tropical storm last night. Or at least late yesterday afternoon, it was demoted back to tropical storm strength.
Demoted. I think the fake radio meteorologist term is downgraded, sir.
Sounds good. Today and Thursday are alert days. That doesn't really help me.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't take long, did it? And leave it to the U. Try to rewrite the rules, or they're not rewriting the rules. Try to use the rules to their advantage. A Miami businessman, gym owner, Dan Lambert, offering every single Miami football player $500 a month to endorse his gym. It's one of those MMA type places. It's a chain. That's not the issue. The issue is that this guy says his $540,000 yearly investment, totally worth it to him. I'm not looking to profit from this. I want to bring people together and make our team better. I got too many Gator and Seminole friends that have been bleeping on me for the last 20 years. I want to reverse it. And that got somebody to hit us up this morning. Rooster Pete, when was the last time Florida State had anything to brag about? Well, it's been within the last 20 years where they've had a national championship. And Miami hasn't. And these Hurricane fans, one in particular, is done with it. I'm interested in your takes. I don't know why you guys are going straight to this is the end of amateur athletics, and now players are just going to go where they can get the best kind of deal. Again, I mean, you remember SMU back in the 80s, right? These idiots just sent cash in the mail. Neil had Cool Care Heating there text line. It seems very easy to abuse when there's no obvious market value on promoting a business on social media. If a business owner wants to pay $500 for one post a month, $15,000 for one post in a month, who can tell him that he's overpaying? The reality is these, quote, endorsements will quickly become a legal way to funnel money to play. It's true. And that's exactly the problem, right? The problem is not a legit endorsement from a couple of Fresno State women's basketball players who are very popular on social media. So a cell phone company says, hey, we need to partner with them. That's not the problem. And I at least appreciate that this, I mean, the worst part of this, I could see the SEC way to do this would be like, no, this is completely legitimate. We're not worried about the football program getting an advantage here. We just want to reward these young men for all the hard work they put in, and we think it's a great business opportunity for our business. No, at least this gym owner comes out and says, no, I want to beat Florida State and Florida. I'm a Miami fan. We need to get this program better. We need better players, better product on the field. So Completely agree. Don't get me wrong, Bill, that it's a mess. But this is the NCAA's own fault. They haven't come up with a rule across the board to avoid this exact situation. Here it is. Figure it out. That's where we are right now. And how many programs in college football out of what do we got? 130 right now, 135 playing Division I college football at the FBS level. How many of those programs do you think would have the money involved, the businessmen involved to create a corporation like this gym owner has already created? Bring back the U. Corporation, he's just trying to get business people involved to pump money to the football program. Out of 130, how many of those do you think could come up with a corporation like this? Because not every place is Miami.
My answer is half. The Power
fair.
5 schools. The Power 5 schools. The question is, does and you could probably go a little bit higher than half, because I bet Houston, probably maybe Boise State, maybe Central Florida, Memphis comes to mind, Cincinnati, all schools that I bet could get boosters together and form something like this. None of those are Power 5 schools, so I'd maybe go closer to 70. The question is, do they want to do it? Are they willing to do it? And then who's the big money behind it? I mean, really cool story, bro. But you're paying $500,000 a year. How long are you going to pay $500,000 a year to support a football program? He's on record now as saying he doesn't. This is not about his own personal gain. I have no clue. For all I know, this gym is doing incredibly well. And maybe he can sustain this for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. I don't know. I have no clue. Until yesterday, I'd never heard of Dan Lambert. Until yesterday, I'd never heard of this gym. Of course, I'm not a UFC fighter, so that would explain both of those. But, or I guess it's MMA. Patrick, is there a difference? UFC and MMA, or is it just two different business models?
UFC is just a company that does MMA fighting.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's like saying, is there a difference between basketball and the NBA?
Yeah.
So I only say that because how long can he continue to spend?
Not even can he, like, this is just any business. Like, if our ratings went down, people wouldn't want to sponsor us. I was watching this Formula One show, and they're saying we need to win races so we can keep our sponsors. If your football team is doing poorly, then people won't want to sponsor you. Like, that is just a part of life, and that is what comes with sponsorships. Like,
well, the question is,
rich people don't just want to burn their money. If this doesn't work and he spends $2 million over the next 3 or 4 years, does he want to keep doing it if there's no results coming? Like, whether he can afford to or not, that's just life. Like, people don't burn money for no reason.
Does he back it down and say, I'm only going to sponsor the top 20 players, but I'm going to give them $1,500 a month? We only need 20 good players to win. What if that becomes his philosophy?
Bill, you've talked about Auburn. Are we going to pretend like boosters aren't already calling the shots? Like, if Dan Lambert says in 4 years, I've given you $2.5 million and nothing's going on here, we need a new coach because he's not taking advantage of the resources that I'm supplying. It's already happening. Like,
he can say that, but it's not in the same way that I think we've all seen Auburn's boosters try to run their program with money being directly paid to the university.
Right.
This is not going. Yeah, this isn't. What was the guy's name down in Miami? Starts with an N. I forget his name. The guy that they just called a couple years.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Miami
little short guy. He's my height. He thought he was
Shapiro. Shapiro is the last name.
Nevin
There
Shapiro.
we go.
That guy was donating across the board to Miami, not just athletics and everything, which is what granted him the access that he was allowed to get. This guy's donating just to the money. But the interesting
It's not
part
donated.
about
That's the thing.
huh?
It's no longer a donation to the school.
Yeah, he's not giving the money. The money was not at some point. He didn't write some kind of check, or Dan Lambert's not about to write some kind of check to go help the Miami Medical School or whatever, the business school like Nevin Shapiro. Nevin Shapiro was able to get involved because money was being donated. It was being given under the table to football players. It was also being donated to the school in terms of helping, the academics. What I do find interesting in what the timeline is on this now is we watch this coming out. Is when does the NCAA step in, and then how do they step in? That becomes the next question. Okay, what kind of regulation do you put on this? Is there a cap? Is it Kayvon Thibodeau yesterday, the former number 1 recruit in the country, the player for Oregon? I don't quite understand his deal. Have you guys seen his?
I think it's an NFT.
The old non-fungible token.
But it's designed by the VP of design for Nike and funded by Phil Knight.
Right, yeah. But there was a 6-figure deal that ends after the 2021 season for memorabilia. So he, I guess, will give away that. There was other things to it. He did do the NFT, but I don't know, the way I read it, I didn't know if like after every game he could sell his jersey now or donate it to a company. There's quotations. It's radio. I realize not everybody's watching the live stream. He could donate it to a company for a small fee that could then be sold to raise money for a charity. There was that one yesterday. So where does the NCAA now able to step in and at least in some way regulate this? Because right now there's no regulation on this, and that's why Tim, again, I told you last week, Wild West.
Yeah, but that you hit on it. It's not that the NCAA is going to come in here. I mean, that'll probably be the guise of their argument, right? We have to ensure fairness and make sure that all institutions are on the same level. What they're worried about is their money. Instead of donating to the athletic department now, they're going straight to the players. And that's where the NCAA will start to figure out, hey, we need to do something about this. Otherwise, a lot of our money is going to go away. And they knew this already, and they have fought it forever. They lost, and they hadn't been able to figure out how to get it under control, and now we've got this mess. So in the end, from a fan perspective, I don't think it changes anything on the field in the short term. Clearly, if this was the way it was going to continue, there would be problems for college basketball, college football as we know it. But this is what the NCAA has kind of made its own bed here. And now they're going to have to figure out how to get out of this mess, if there is a way. But I'm a little bit surprised it's happened this quickly. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that it's happened down in Miami, and it's just right out there for everybody to try to figure out along with the NCAA right now when a Miami gym owner says, yep, every single football player, going to give them $500 a month, $540,000. That's worth it to me to win against Florida and Florida State and be back to the top dog in the state of Florida in football. 803-404-6100 is the number. It's the early game. It's 107.5 the game.
Clear.
Just think all this college football talk before you know it. College football season will be here. The question is, will you be rested, refreshed, ready for a big, big, big college football season? With a Sleep Number bed, I can guarantee you get great nights of sleep. Wake up ready to go on Saturday morning, do a little tailgating, watch your favorite team. If it's the U, who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's the Gamecocks, maybe it's the Tigers, whoever it may be. You need a great night of sleep to be able to pull for your team. And again, college football season, not that far off. So go ahead and make the switch today. Start getting those great nights of sleep. Make the switch to Sleep Number. Discover proven quality sleep during our lowest prices of the season sale. All Sleep Number 360 smart beds are on sale starting at $899. But it's only for a limited time. 2 Sleep Number stores to choose from. One in Irmo, Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, right now, the lowest prices of the season sale. All Sleep Number 360 smart beds are on sale starting at $899. But it's only for a limited time. I'm telling you what, college football season is not far away. You want to make sure you're rested, refreshed, ready to go to cheer on your team, getting a great night of sleep. Pretty important to being able to do that. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
Beautiful.
There you go. A little bit better. Sun is up bright this morning. As I sit here in my FBI studio where I'm undercover.
Worst relocation plan ever.
Do what?
Worst anonymous witness relocation protection program ever.
It's true. All right. So Sonny, I can just I'm gonna need more of a lesson on this, on spraying this stuff in the lake, because otherwise I'm just about to start putting chemicals in the lake, and I'm pretty sure that's frowned upon.
Diquote? How do you pronounce that?
I was going Diquat, but that's only because I'm still stuck on what is it? What was it? Was it Prince Farquaad? Did y'all see the thing? If y'all seen that about the Bears in Patrick, you're on mute, but yeah.
Yeah, Lord Farquaad, and how they made a rug out of Mama Bear.
I learned that yesterday. This was, oh my goodness. It's another reason I don't TikTok.
Very observant from that guy to have noticed that.
You'll learn, man. You get kids and you have to watch the same movie or show over and over and over. You start to pick up on things that most people wouldn't. But you are right, like, because you had to hold that knowledge for about an hour and a half, because I think that the last part was towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really remember that there were bears involved, and then I guess you just noticed the rug and you're like, oh, it's kind of bizarre, and then you watch it again and you say, oh man, they're crying about the mom. Pretty dark.
So does anybody know? Can I just? It says for pond. This Diquat Aquaside pellets.
That's why I wanted to
I'm probably gonna put this. I'm probably gonna put this in the hands of some neighbors and let them do it just in case. No need for y'all to see DNR agents or someone showing up behind me knocking on the glass at 7:30 in the morning trying to track me down for.
All right, we're coming back.
All right.
Got a minute. You're up.
Social media abuzz. One of the latest Gamecock commits, Emory Floyd, defensive back from the state of Georgia, downgraded from a 4-star commit or recruit to a 3-star by. Did Rivals do that, Bill, yesterday? You're the resident recruiting nerd. How did that go down? And then I think the conspiracy theory is that, those services just don't like the University of South Carolina and don't prop them up as much as other programs. Can you dispel that notion, or do you agree that there's some of that going on?
They hate South Carolina. I don't know what he did to be downgraded. He was at a camp recently and they bragged on him and he dropped. I think it was 24/7 downgraded him. I think he went to an 88, which brought his cumulative score just below an 89. His composite score just below an 89. I think he's like at 88.76 or something. I saw that yesterday. I don't know what he did. I mean, so he committed to South Carolina. I guess that's what it calls it.
TJ Swearinger responding straight to Floyd saying, don't worry about that thing, man. Hour 2 coming up.
You like the silhouette, Chris? Tim enjoys the view, and I like staying out. Now I can start going without a hat in the morning. All right. Gotta do a refill on the coffee. Daiquat, correct him. Okay, Daiquat. So I can just spray this stuff in the lake. Like, there's no. I guess I should find out. And should I spray during the winter? Can I do it today? It looks like this stuff is $100 for. I mean, it doesn't look cheap. I'll say that too. This is all very interesting, though. It appears we are domyown.com. Oh, boy. Got a table here. I feel like this is somebody I should hire somebody for this. This has been very informative for the first hour, Sonny. Thank you very much.
Good morning to you too, Jan. So, Patrick, what was the better game, or were they both pretty good games, soccer games yesterday?
Soccer, I didn't get to see the second one. It was Argentina and Colombia, and that went to PKs at like 11, so I was working. But it sounded like it was a great game. They were both 1-1 games that ended in penalty kicks.
And what was the first one?
It was Italy and Spain. That was a powerhouse
Was it a good
matchup.
game, or was it a tie game?
No, it was a very good. No, it was a very good game. It was Italy scored pretty early in the second half, and then Spain scored late in the second half to force extra time.
And who ended up winning?
Italy. So, if all goes according to plan, it'll be Italy and England in the championship. But Denmark is a team whose best player, like, basically had a heart attack on the field, whatever they call it.
Right.
And they're nowhere near as good as the teams they've beaten, and they're just kind of team of destiny right now. So difficult to count them out.
And there's your soccer breakdown on the show.
Is that what happened to the guy Erickson that David thought he had a heart attack on the field?
I don't know what they said. What?
Arrhythmia, I think, is what
Yeah,
our doctor hit us up with, maybe.
yeah. But so Euro finals will be on Sunday. Hopefully, Italy and England. That'll be a great game. Argentina, Brazil will be an amazing game for the Copa America finals on Sunday. And the U.S. starts their tournament on Sunday night against Haiti. So Sunday will be a massive soccer day.
Sunday?
Yeah.
All right.
Once the Euros and the South America tournament wrap up, our tournament, the North American Caribbean tournament, will begin.
I think we're gonna make Saturday a lake day, but Sunday we got a rack of ribs and I'm gonna cook that.
Might want to look into your Daiquat chemical pesticide license issue there, Sonny says.
A chemical pesticide license. So is that like a CWP? Is there a class I go for that? Like, how does that work? What? Hold on. I gotta make a phone call. Where's my mute?
Just look at that sunrise. Beautiful.
We're about half an hour from Bill having to move the camera as well. I don't know what's going on, but whenever the sun gets to a certain angle, it just starts spazzing every time Bill makes a movement.
Yeah. The camera reacting to the light.
Yeah.
My thoughts exactly, Chris. Maybe that's the next version of this show, that we do it live stream, but we don't do it with our faces in the live stream. I just point it to like my kid's drawing of Ozzie Smith and Michael Jordan.
It'll just be everyone's backgrounds.
Right. You put it on like the ticker that we got going there in the studio. Just put it out on Gervais Street. Always entertaining.
Yeah.
What's the latest out there? Jim says they were putting in palmetto trees a while back, and then they're doing something on the building too. Is it pretty quiet out there?
Yeah, I don't see anything. I mean, I'm looking at a tree. I don't think it's new. I guess I wouldn't really notice if there was just a new tree up because there's already so many.
Doesn't have that new tree smell?
No. There's a lot of trees right here. I mean, we're right across the street from a cemetery, so. I did see some, I don't know, maybe they're doing something in the building. I see some lights pointing up at the building. I wonder if they're still working. I don't see anybody working on the roof of the church, which has been getting worked on for, I think, over 2 years. People have been working on the roof of that church across the street for as long as I've been here.
In the intro, Bill. Hello, hour number 2 on a Wednesday morning towards the beginning of July. Thanks for spending your Wednesday morning with us. On the way out this morning, Patrick Perrette helping to fill in, producing from the Heritage Chevrolet Studio downtown Columbia. Bill Gunter sitting in his sunroom just off the banks of Lake Murray. And if you're tuned into the video live stream, you can see the sunrise there. Facebook, YouTube, Live, Twitter, as well as station handle at 1075 The Game. I'm Tim Hill. Glad you're a part of the show. And hour number 1. So we talked a little bit about the match, and I watched nearly all of it. I did fast forward between shots a little bit, was behind. I did see the finish live. It was a pretty long television event when they teed off about 5:40. I think it was done about 10:30, 10:45-ish, somewhere in there. So a 5-hour match. You had to be really invested to watch the whole thing. And it's the in-between shot lull that can, I think, cause my mind to wander a little bit. I know they brought on guests, and they had President Obama, and they had Baker Mayfield, and they had a bunch of people in between. To me, they didn't utilize Charles Barkley quite well enough. I get it that they wanted to get Larry Fitzgerald in there, and they had Tiger Woods' niece, Cheyenne Woods, on the course, and I think they did a pretty good job of trying to get a bunch of the in-group commentary on there, but the audio issues are kind of a bit of a nightmare because sometimes you would get some feedback having a couple of microphones open at the same time. But overall, I thought it was worth watching. And my big takeaway is I still remain a big Aaron Rodgers fan, and still remain a huge Phil Mickelson fan. Now, I liked watching Tom Brady get mad and lose, and Bryson DeChambeau continues to be just truly unlikable. It helped that he wore a regular hat, I think, a ball cap instead of his typical golf cap. I would love to hear how that discussion went down too, by the way, behind the scenes deal. Bryson, we think it's in your best interest to wear a typical baseball cap. Yeah, but my signature is the old school Payne Stewart. Like, I would have loved to hear that thing. I guess that's what it is with DeChambeau, that I feel like he is putting on a bit of an act in front of the camera as opposed to just being himself, who Aaron Rodgers is. Patrick, you nailed it. Like, there couldn't be more polar opposite dudes, and they both get kind of criticized for being who they are, right? Bryson DeChambeau being a guy who's concerned about his image, Aaron Rodgers being a guy who is not concerned enough about his image or doesn't care enough, maybe, from the outside looking in. And it was fun to watch, man. I enjoyed it, and I was impressed with Aaron Rodgers just coming up clutch time to time on the golf course.
I think Bryson's overcompensating now because he got dumped by his caddy, and everyone's like, "All right, well, this guy's a jerk," and he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm the cool guy. Don't worry. My caddy, I didn't want him to be my caddy. It wasn't me." And he knows Brooks is like exactly the same as Aaron, just too cool for school, couldn't care less, and Bryson's just, I mean, if you think he wasn't trying way too hard, I don't understand.
But I think we like our quarterbacks to be like that. We don't like our golfers to be like that, right? Because
I like my golfer to be like that.
But Mickelson put it best. He's like, guys, Charles Barkley was asking about, he had a little wrap on his left hand. Barkley was asking, like, "Hey, Phil, what's up with your hand?" He's like, "Guys, I'm soft. These guys get hit all the time by 300-pound linemen. I get a little owie on my hand, and I got to wrap it up."
You're muted on the live stream.
That's why I like Phil Mickelson. And that was on full display, is that he is not afraid to have some fun and be self-deprecating. That's what we're missing out, I think, with DeChambeau the most. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers probably have some of that in them, but because they are just incredible. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady just busted out a football while they were waiting one time and just started tossing it around, that was all right as well. What'd you think, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good television. I don't know if I really got into the golf aspect of it. I don't know if I was ever pulling for somebody. Now that you mentioned that, you were like, "Oh, I was pulling for Phil and for, or who was it, Aaron?" To be honest with you, now that I kind of think back and watching it, there was several parts that I enjoyed. I don't know if I was ever really paying attention to whose team was on, or who was on whose team. It was fun listening to the interaction. I'm not being as rough this morning on DeChambeau. You guys are just crushing my man.
Why is it golfers with you? You'll criticize people in other sports, but you just defend the worst golfers.
Good people, DeChambeau.
Yeah.
They're good people. I told you guys I was coming around on DeChambeau at I think it was Palmer's tournament, at Arnold Palmer's tournament, where he hit the drive over the water, was interacting with the crowd. I think that's just him. I think he's a quirky, weird guy. But see, he gets along well with Phil Mickelson. And the reason is, if you've heard him talk about it, they'll play practice rounds together because, and I've actually seen an interview with Mickelson where he's talking about, one hole they'll be talking about the scientific nature of the golf swing and what you have to do. And then Phil's like, and then the next hole, we're discussing aliens from outer space. And if that's a legit, like, they're both kind of odd, quirky guys when it comes to conversation. And so I only say that because I don't know, like, you say it, I don't know. Do you think DeChambeau was picked on as a kid and now this is his way of just trying to be the cool guy in school and fit in? And I really don't mind him all that much. And I don't know what happened with his caddy. I don't know the details, but
I heard yesterday from Ian Rappaport that, Ian Rappaport, the football guy, said, I don't know why this came across my why this was brought to my attention, but everybody on the tour hates how Bryson treated his caddy, and we're all happy when he left. And that's why Brooks put out the picture of trolling him with, like, the picture of his caddy. I don't remember what the caption was, but it was like, couldn't do it without you, bro. Love you. Like, would would never have another caddy, and apparently the eye roll had something to do with what Bryson was saying to his caddy behind Brooks. So apparently the Bryson is just kind of abusive to his caddy, never blames anyone or never takes the blame himself and makes them do crazy things, and they just have to put up with all sorts of nonsense working with Bryson. So
we discussed that a little bit yesterday with DeChambeau and never taking the blame, and that was, we kind of all talked about it, like where I think, again, Tim, what was it after the Friday round? Was it the U.S. Open where he shot 76? He's like, I didn't play bad. I mean, it wasn't me. I played good. I played worse rounds. It's just golf, and I get it. He does some things that are annoying, but the personality there. We've talked about this in sports. Golf is one. NASCAR, I think, is the other in particular right now. We're having guys with personality, whether you like them or despise them, I think is a good thing. You know, Tim, you and I grew up in the Tiger Woods era where there really was no personality. Like, it was a robot out there. You get emotion on certain holes, but the interactions with the media and the fans, there was nothing. And DeChambeau, you know, that's one of the reasons I like Koepka. Koepka coming around and doing the was it Michelob Ultra or the Ultra, whatever beer it was that he did, you know, saying, hey guys, Brooksy here. Can't be with you today, but understand some of you got kicked off the course, didn't get to enjoy the round. I kind of enjoy that. So I'm still going back and forth on the Koepka DeChambeau storyline there. But I enjoyed the personalities last night that were on display from the four of them. I think that's a neat little setup. I don't know if you're ever tuning in to watch the actual golf played. I will say there were a couple shots by and they're good golfers, by Rogers and Brady, that I went, I've hit those shots before. A pool, like, you know, like I've done that before. So,
well, it's also how that they hit the next shot like they're human instead of superhuman like the pros if they hit a bad shot. But yeah, Tom Brady had a lot of pull and then a lot of push. His ball flight I can identify with the most, and then you could tell it was burning him up at the end that he was not winning, and he dropped a curse word. The only time that I heard, I think Roger was like, "Are we on a delay?" Talking about the audio, and they had to edit it out, and he was legit not happy. And just to see his competitive drive there, Charles Barkley had a great line. He's like, "I don't trust people who don't get mad." And then during one of those exchanges where Phil was just kind of, I think, doing it for entertainment value, it's like, no, take us through the process there, Bryson, and the whole thing. They are going back and forth about 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock and then the degrees. And then so I'm playing it out here, and Barkley's like, you imagine going on a long car ride with these guys? I thought we didn't quite get enough of Barkley's personality in that thing, but overall, worth watching for sure. This morning, our larger conversation that will continue to evolve is following the name, image, likeness news from yesterday, where a Miami gym owner says, I'm paying $500 a month for every single Miami Hurricanes football player to endorse my gym. And it's not about making money for my gym. It's about getting these Florida fans, these Florida State fans, off my back and getting the Miami football program back to being a national championship type football program. Lines, plenty of thoughts already in, and I'll get to some of those when we come back here. Glad you're a part of the show on a Wednesday morning. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
Love.
Bill have one here? Yes, so let's see.
We have turned the calendar officially to July. It's hard to believe we're almost a full week into July, which means maybe your child about to head off to college. Can you believe it? You might want to send them off with a pre-owned certified vehicle from Love Chevrolet. Make sure they're getting around campus safe. They're getting around campus in comfortable fashion. So go visit Love Chevrolet, where you can check out a wide selection of vehicles. You got brand new vehicles, 14 acres to choose from. Other companies right now having problem getting vehicles in stock. Not the case at Love Chevrolet. And again, you can check out those pre-owned certified vehicles from Love Chevrolet. You can get a great deal on them. Talk to a fantastic sales staff. Go find out for yourself. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. Go see what I am discussing and go visit the great folks at Love Chevrolet. You got a $1,000 low price guarantee, meaning you can shop other dealerships, take the price back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they'll top it, or they'll write you a check for $1,000. Again, the widest selection, the largest selection of new Chevrolets anywhere in the Midlands. And I always brag on that sales staff. Josh Putnell, a good friend of mine out there. He's my go-to guy. I can go out and talk to him about something wrong with my car. He can tell me what's wrong with it, or he can put me in touch with the service department, and they'll get it fixed. No reason not to go visit Love Chevrolet next time you're looking for a brand new or pre-owned certified vehicle. Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
Interesting.
I don't know if Charles is insulting me on the text line.
I've never seen Bill before, but I've listened to him a lot. It's not shocking at all that he's okay with Bryson. I bet Bill dresses like him on the course. Bryson probably microwaves bacon. Charles, I'm the microwave bacon guy, though. Come on, man.
I guarantee Bryson does not eat bacon.
No, he's talking about all the calories. He tries to get in 3,000 or 4,000 calories per round. Having a protein bar yesterday. They're asking about bulking up. He says he's good with where he's at. He just wants to add more power. You guys, so 777-yard par 5. Bill, did you see that hole? I'm guessing you didn't.
No, I might have missed that one.
It's ridiculous. It's like basically a 100-yard drop off from. And that's the thing I loved about that course. I don't know why every golf course doesn't do this. It's like almost on every hole, it's like an elevated tee, right? I guess with topography, it's kind of tough not to have the uphill holes too, but it seemed like every hole was like hitting downhill.
Yeah, they were. What was it? One of the first holes they were talking about that with the slope and the degree and everything, and how far you're hitting certain shots.
On this hole, they had it lined up to where they had a chance to hit a 500-yard drive because it's so downhill. And Mickelson hit his drive as good as he could hit it, he said, but it was into a bunker that was like 390 away. But if it had gone over that, it's like straight downhill after that, so it could have been a 500-yard drive. And then DeChambeau yanked his in the left in the mess, and it was Rogers who hit like 480 or something on the dang hole. Got it past that little hump and straight down. Nuts, man.
Rogers, I think Rogers flew in and out same day because he's going to Tahoe for the Tahoe tournament this weekend.
Right.
Oh, really?
No, I think they had said he had been there for a few days or got there last week and was practicing.
Flying out
No, he said he came in 2 weeks ago.
Right.
He came in 2 weeks ago, played with friends.
I don't think he's been living in Montana for 2 weeks.
Fly fishing, I think, is what he does.
He's having a heck of an off season.
Yeah.
And Brady at the end was like, man, I wonder if basically saying, I hope the football is still going to be there after you've been playing golf so well.
Rogers doesn't throw in the offseason. He definitely is not playing football.
Good for him. some of his looks after listening to Bryson, I think that's probably what I identify with most. He's just like looks at the camera. He's like,
This guy's serious?
You hearing this?
I mean, it's just three cool guys. Like Rodgers, I think Rodgers is like a pothead now. Seems like I don't know what his deal is. He's so skinny. His hair is so long.
He is not skinny. Get out of here, dude.
Yes, he is.
You are not watching the same thing I was watching yesterday. Then
Well, I wasn't watching it. It never once went on my TV. Everything I saw was on Twitter.
I think he was wearing all black like Mickelson, probably
Yeah.
to hide some of the non-skinniness.
He's not muscular.
I'm not going to disagree with that. He's a massive dude. You're hitting 400-yard plus drives. Ridiculous. And doing it with a swing that looks like an amateur swing for sure. He's not Justin Thomas out there maximizing the physics of the golf swing.
Nah.
It doesn't look. Brady's looks better.
Yeah, I would say Brady has a better swing than Rodgers. Because I don't think Rodgers could hit a draw.
Yeah, early on as I was watching, I wasn't sure how good Aaron Rodgers was going to be for the whole. Like, I figure he's – because then that got me wondering, like, I wonder if there's got to be some kind of limitations on what your handicap has to be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For them to bring you to this, this event.
Well, they had Barkley play in the last one, so.
Yeah,
I
but I
mean-
think you're watching that one more for the –
Sure.
Yeah.
They've all played with each other. These
they
famous
know.
rich athletes. Phil's probably pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars from all of them.
Oh, yeah. Sonny, no need to apologize by the ADHD, by the way. That's what we're here for. Chicken salad chick. I have not eaten that. Have you guys?
It's good.
Nope.
It's actually good.
Oh, yeah? Bill endorses.
Yep.
Oh, you're up.
Help me out with this take, guys. It's from Todd, the resident Alabama fan this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line 803-404-6100, talking about the name, image, and likeness deal. The mess now that the NCAA has itself in that took, all of 3 days to get to, with this Miami gym owner offering $500 a pop per Miami football player to endorse his gym. $500 a month. $540,000 a year, I think, is his big investment. And he says, yeah, worth it to me. I'm not doing it for the business. I'm doing it to make Miami football better. Started a corporation called Bring Back the U, encouraging other local business owners to get behind the Miami football program and basically pay the players. Good morning, fellas, Todd says. Love the show. I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it. Name, image, and likeness is opening the door for catastrophe down the road. It's just an easy way for money to change hands, alumni to get involved, and corruption to begin. And it has begun, Todd says. I can speak firsthand here in Alabama. What are you talking about, man? Corruption has just begun? Have you not followed college football for the last, how many decades? 5? More than that, probably? It's not just begun. It has just changed. And now I'm happy that we know about it. Good for this Miami gym owner for getting it out there. He's not hiding anything. He's not trying to say that, man, I really think Miami football players are going to help my gym and get people involved in the whole thing. No, he's saying I'm tired of Florida and Florida State buddies having the upper hand on me, having the bragging rights. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Now, the problem here is that there are plenty of problems, right? Scott hit us up earlier in hour number 1, said, what about Title IX and discrimination? And why, when other athletes aren't getting similar deals, won't that be a Title IX deal? To me, it's not, because it's not going through a publicly funded university. This is private business. I mean, I guess I could sue Nike for not giving me the opportunity to endorse their products, but they were a company, and it's a business move, man.
They don't have to give Asia Wilson as much as they give LeBron James. They can do whatever they want.
So I don't see it being a Title IX issue. But the issue is, Bill, that I mentioned, I posed the question, all right, how many universities, how many big-time programs, college football, where there are 130 or so Division I programs, how many of them have the ability to do what Miami's done? And you said about half, maybe a little bit more. I think the honest answer is all of them have the ability to do this, right? Because there are big-time money involved in all Division I college football programs. But Coastal Carolina and Brooks Stadium down in Conway has had to expand just to join their conference and kind of move up the ranks. It's not on the same level as Miami, and I think your estimation is fair, about half of them. But now it becomes, all right, how many programs are willing to do this or willing to join forces as businesses? And then, because to me, Bill, this is basically changing pots of money. Whereas previously, Steve Spurrier has gone to a big-time donor and say, please give us money to the athletic department in the form of a donation, and that's going to help our football program. Spurrier was the most upfront college football coach I've ever heard. Yeah, if you want a winner, you got to pay for a winner. And South Carolina folks have always had the money. They've just never been asked. And he changed that. And we saw the results, both from a facility standpoint and from a result standpoint. Now, I feel like those big donors, Bill, are going to be faced with the dilemma of having the athletic department over here calling up and saying, hey, man, we want your money. And then seeing what Dan Lambert's doing and sending the money straight to the players and having that opportunity as well. But these people have enough money where they can continue to give the money they've been given to the athletic department and also send some right to the players' pocket.
Well, it's all on them. You're getting a little ahead of yourself on that. To pay the player, I'm going to assume you have to own the business or be in charge of the marketing department. Like if
Bill, what are you talking about? This guy Lambert has developed a corporation called Bring Back the U. He just made a business, and then
he owns a business. He can do this because he owns a business. And
Yeah,
apparently,
but if I
he
won
just
the
made
lottery
another one.
tomorrow, I could just make a business and do it.
Right. We could come up with Early Game Inc. and then pay players to promote our business, right? Endorse it through whatever we want. You could call it whatever. We could say through word of mouth, they're endorsing our business.
we can come up with Early Game Inc. We still have to have the money to do it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why I said I could win the lottery tomorrow. And
You
just make a
could.
big
You
business
could.
do it.
You could also get struck by lightning twice. I was reading the odds to win the lottery the other day, and I realized I discovered how many other things are more possible. And you're like, yes, Patrick, you could win the lottery tomorrow.
Well, make your point.
What's
Then.
today? Today's Wednesday. You could win it. You could win one of them today. You also could get struck by lightning twice as you walk out of the studio. There's a lot of things that could happen. The point being is what you just said. You've got to have the money to do this.
But all
You
130 college football programs have boosters with money.
some boosters care about
Some more
football.
than
You better
others.
have you better have the boosters that care about football. But here you're asking the point about donating to the school. Well, that is true, but there are still some people who aren't in it. You're right. You could, I guess, technically start, Gunner Inc. and just pay a player to promote. I don't know. Again, this is where the NCAA's got to step in and be like, all right, you got to promote something, buddy. You just can't promote Bill Gunner or Tim Hill or Patrick Perrette. I mean, because I guess you could hypothetically start your own company with you and just have a player, say, promoting, walking around, making a social media post once a day for $500 a month. Just say, boy, that Bill Gunner's really great. But again, you have to come up with the money. You've got to come up with the money. Let's be clear on that. There's this guy, Dan Lambert, apparently is not hurting for money here. And who he's recruiting are other business owners to do this. This is going on, as you said, you're recruiting other business owners to be able to do this. Now, I don't know the exact demographics of, say, Clemson's alumni, of South Carolina's alumni. When it comes to running a business and marketing, I'm sure that there are plenty out there, but that's who you're having to get here. You can't just go down the street to let's use our two good buddies here. All right, Brian and Brandon Jeffcoat on an insurance company.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of their insurance agents are able to just go out and say, hey, I'm going to get, Luke Doty or I don't know who the I guess the quarterback at Clemson, DJ, maybe that's the guy, I'm going to get them to sponsor me or to endorse me. I don't know if the insurance agents can do that. The people that aren't in that position. I still think we're talking about the people who are going to do this. It's a smaller percentage. And Tim, that's where the only thing I disagree with you on. Well, you say it's above board. You have people who just made lots of money, who are just wandering around giving out $100 handshakes or donating different ways and getting money to players. This is going to be a little bit different when you talk about people trying to get endorsements. The Kayvon Thibodeau deal with Nike yesterday. Not everybody's in that position like Nike was to give Kayvon Thibodeau 6 figures for a 1-year deal, I may add. If you saw it, the deal ends at the end of this year because he's going pro, and they'll sign him to a new deal for his NFL career, which was phenomenal. But
my point is not that everybody has the opportunity to do this. My point is that college football programs have always been driven by big donors and money. And they've been the power brokers in college football forever. And that money has just gone to the athletics department, as opposed to now having the opportunity to send it right to the player. And Bill, figuring out how to do that, how to get endorsements, is not going to be an issue. When a corporation has already been started called Bring Back the U, and the guy who started it has hired the lawyer in Florida who helped write their new name, image, and likeness law, they're going to figure out how to do it. And Miami's not going to be the only one. I think what scares a lot of fans is that there might not be a lot of business owners out there willing to do that for their football programs. And then things get out of balance. But my point is that things have been out of balance for how long in college football from a money standpoint. And now at least some of that money is going directly to players. But the NCAA has to figure out how to keep a massive amount of that going directly to players and not back to their universities, back to the departments. That's their problem.
What I think fascinates me the most about this is what Dan Lambert is the guy. You can go check out the articles with Tim and I and Patrick are discussing this morning about what exactly he's done. And let's kind of reset that table real quick, Tim, just on what's happened. Dan Lambert, who owns a MMA type gym, is what we can figure most from it. It's called American
Gyms, right?
Chain. It's called American Top Team, and he's been a longtime Miami football fan. Has now said he will pay each scholarship player on the Miami football team a monthly payment of $500 this year to advertise his gyms on social media. And so, again, no real details on this. Just like, do they have to just put out one tweet a month, one tweet a day, one TikTok, one Instagram? Does the quarterback? Does the?
I'm guessing those requirements aren't going to be too strict.
Yeah, you're not thinking of too strict. But what we're saying here is, so this is what he's done. Now, what I find interesting is you're paying 90 players $500, which is what we came to as $45,000 a month. Okay, $45,000 a month. What if you took that $45,000 and you said, we don't need 90 players to win. I need 25 studs. I need an offense and a defense and 3 reserves. And then the other guys can figure it out for themselves. And I'm just going to pay those 25 because I think that's where he ends up going here at some point. Like,
right. He gives a call to Manny Diaz. Hey, Manny, give me your top 25. Let's just say maybe today's a good day to put out your depth chart. That's all I'm saying. How about that?
That's it.
But right now, you can just say any kid who gets an offer from Miami can know for a fact that if I go to Miami, I'm getting $500 a month.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. I mean, it works both ways.
But you look at it, and he said if you did that $45,000 a month, if you divided that by 25, and he just said, hey, I'm going to try and entice 25, that's $1,800 a month.
Right.
Now we're starting to talk.
differently about this? Yeah, that makes you think differently about it.
That made me think differently. I just wonder if that's where he ends up. Like, because again, 90 guys on scholarship. All right, there's a couple guys who are just going to pocket. We'll never hear their names. But you get another donor who says 500. You get another donor for Florida State who comes in and says, I don't need 90 dudes. I need 25. I got to get Mike Norvell, 25 guys. Well, I'll pay those guys $2,000 a month. That trumps your 500 a month. Now come to Florida State. Now where the NCAA better go, whoa, let's do something
because
here.
that's what this is going to come down to, because that's what this gym owner's already said. His buddies that are Florida State and Florida fans have been able to have bragging rights. So those buddies are now cooking up their own plans. They have to be. Cool Care Heating and Air text line, anonymous texter. If he's a huge Miami fan, then he may just be trying to help the players out to hopefully make his team better. There's no may and ifs about it. That's exactly what he's saying he's doing. But at least it's out there in front of us right now. Hot Sauce Ross, by the way, you're talking about the odds of winning the lottery and being struck by lightning. It says a friend of mine's dad got struck by lightning twice and hit by a train.
All right, well.
Got two. Carry on. It's a great time for us to take a quick break and just try to all of that. It's the early game here. I want to survive the game.
Clear.
I didn't even know it was there. I got to admit to you guys, Daniel's Fine Furniture and Bedding towards the back of the airport. I encourage you to get by there and check them out, especially if you're in the market for a recliner, maybe or a bed. They got it all there, and they want you to come by and just hang out, man. Go check it out. They're going to treat you like family. That's why I am happy to recommend Daniel's Fine Furniture this morning. Local owners Daniel and June Clark have been serving the Midlands for 25 years. And you just need to remember the 3 B's when it comes to Daniel's Furniture. Best furniture, best service, and best price. Very simple. Can't ask for anything more than that, but you can go check out their leather gallery. Just hang out in all the recliners. They just want you to check out the store. And when you go in there, you're not going to be a number like a big box store. You're going to be part of their family, and they're going to treat you as such. You see something you like, you can buy it. They'll deliver it to you within 15 to 20 miles for free. And you're going to have it as soon as possible there, because they know that it's not about you going in there and buying one piece of furniture. It's about the relationship you guys are going to have and develop and how they can help you moving forward, not just for the next day or week, but for the next years. Again, 25 years is how long Daniel's Fine Furniture has been serving the Midlands. They would like to serve you. Go check them out. 3911 Edmond Highway is the exact address there in West Columbia. It's at the back of the airport, Highway 302 and Dunbar Road, where you can find them. Remember, when it's time to save, it's time for Daniel's Fine Furniture and Bedding. Sorry, internet issues on my end. You got me?
Yeah.
What are you smirking at?
Just everybody's just coming up. What if this happens? What if they do? We could have taken that last point Bill made and said, well, what if he only plays 10 players?
Right.
What if he only plays 5 players? What if he just gives all $500,000 to one kid? Like, we can do this all day. What do we?
A lot of people outside at 7:39 in the morning.
What is going on?
Sunrise on Lake Murray, man. Time to get going. And so Bill's not the only one, Sonny, who was into your chicken salad chick there. What is Day saying about it? And Day is very conservative with his praise, let's say. Chicken salad chick is delicious. Never tried barbecue chicken salad, but I love theirs. Other great flavors as well. Ooh, barbecue chicken salad. I never tried that as well. That sounds amazing.
What are the odds Bill is back in the next 45 seconds to start the segment?
0. Danny, what are you asking here? Do y'all think that the NCAA is going to do anything and trust them to?
Do you trust the NCAA to do something? Maybe.
They're not going to be able to police this. No way. They're going to have the IRS doing most of their work, I think. Unbelievable.
It's a shocker that Bill doesn't want to come back to studio.
Oh, no. I'm just reading a text saying unbelievable. I totally believe that Bill's not back.
All right, you're up.
I don't get this. Again, this has been a familiar refrain. Paying young players will be a nightmare, anonymous texter says. Too irresponsible to handle the finances and tax ramifications will not be good. I mean, does this keep other sports from allowing young players in? Like, how many teenage tennis pros have we seen through the years? It has been a nightmare for a long, long time in football for guys coming out of college handling their money. I think getting this kind of stuff out there in the open is exactly what will help make these guys responsible. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that all college football players are going to handle any kind of endorsement money well right now, especially at the beginning. But I think this is a great way, this name, image, likeness thing, to start developing a proper system for guys to understand how to handle that money responsibly. Take years and years and years, I think. And it's going to take, this is where I see it going, is that universities right now, as opposed to touting these facilities like they've always done and the whole thing, now they're going to start touting. I mean, we've already seen it. Florida State and South Carolina, who've hired these consultants to handle the name, image, likeness, say, hey, we have a system now to help you develop your brand and to understand how to manage your money. That's a good thing. That now the money is going directly to these players instead of around the players to coaches and administration or whatever. I see that as a good thing. Now, there are tons of issues. There's no doubt about it. And we're talking about it this morning specifically is the Miami situation where Dan Lambert, who somebody else hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line and mentioned him specifically. So this is an anonymous texter saying Lambert's prominent on The Ultimate Fighter. Many of the contestants come from the American top team gyms. He loves the TV time. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised that a guy who's already prominent in the MMA world now making headlines with endorsements for Miami football players and promising to pay them all $500 a month right now, saying it's worth it. You've already started a corporation called Bring Back the U, trying to rally the local business community behind the football program to get that football program back to national prominence.
Well, this is a better way to get publicity for your donations. Like, how many people do we know at schools that are donating $500,000 to a university? You have to donate. Like, we know Phil Knight because he's donating millions upon millions of dollars. We know T. Boone Pickens. How much money did he donate to Oklahoma State? Like, we know the big guys, but now you can just you can give $50,000 to a couple players, and it'll be highly publicized, and it'll be great for you. And I think people are also don't care to deal with like the bureaucracy of the athletic departments and knowing where exactly your money's going to go when you give it to them. When you donate $540,000 and you know each kid's getting exactly this amount of money, you know exactly where your money is going and what it's being used for. So it's the schools are actually going to have to recruit against their own players to make sure that they're the ones still getting the money.
Well, to an extent.
Bizarre.
To an extent, you still
already
get
is.
a lot of state funds to build.
Bill, I think you're trying to talk there, and we're not hearing you. There.
Well, I don't get to.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, no, you still get a lot of state funds to help build facilities and to do improvements and everything. What I'll be interested in the next few days or weeks or whatever, however this plays out, is watching what happens with Miami and how many businesses, large businesses, corporations bring back the U. This corporation
Right.
started, and then to watch other universities, and I shouldn't say universities, but to watch other alumni for other schools. Does Florida State have an answer for this? Because they were called out personally here, Florida State and Florida. Do they have an answer for this by the end of the week?
Right.
You know, do you have to bring back the chop or whatever Florida State wants to do? Like, is there going to be an immediate answer for this? Because the one other interesting part that we've discussed for the last 2 weeks a lot is South Carolina's momentum on the recruiting trail. And I think, Patrick, you said it earlier. Right now, any player that signs with Miami is, the way this is worded and the way this is happening, is guaranteed $500. No questions asked. Put out a tweet sponsoring All-American Gym. If you sign with Miami, and I think Jaden Gibson, I believe, is the wide receiver that South Carolina's chasing out of Winter Garden, and he's looking at Florida, he's looking at Miami, he's looking at Florida State. He took a visit to South Carolina. Looked like Justin Stepp might have a good chance to get him out of the state of Florida. Well, now there's your incentive for Miami that trumps South Carolina a little bit. Hey, come play for the U. Also get $500 without basically doing anything. So I'm wondering if you see schools in this dead period. Well, I shouldn't say, again, I shouldn't say schools. Alumni instantly go, man, we better come up with something by, I think it's July 25th or
But
July
wait a
23rd.
second. Do we know that this deal isn't already in place for Gamecock football players? I've seen several of them. Jaheim Bell yesterday joined the Carry On Joiner, putting it out that he is now a spokesperson for PSD underwear. I don't know if the deal's $500 a month or not. I have no idea. It could already be in place. We don't know. That's where we are right now. In this, it is. I understand why the Wild West has been put out there for sure as the cliche for where we are. But it is going to continue to be fascinating. And again, I don't feel bad for the NCAA one iota that this is kind of the position they put themselves in. Now, as you were talking about it, Miami, you know that Manny Diaz, you know what his dad was?
Mayor, wasn't it? Was it mayor?
Yeah. Could it have been the plan all along? It was a surprise that Manny Diaz got that job, right? He was going to Temple to be a first-year head coach. Could the plan all along that, hey, one of the reasons why we need this guy is because he's tied into the local business community.
Yeah,
And
I don't.
Down the pipe.
I don't think that.
Could it have been the plan for Shane Beamer to get hired, knowing that this is going to be part of the job now?
I don't know. During the
I'm
break,
just going to throw out a bunch of questions. We'll see if we can answer some of them.
I'll
We
go
can
get the
take a
tin
break
foil
right
out
now.
of
It's
the
the early game. It's
out of the
1:75.
door.
Oh man, yesterday at my house we didn't have a plan yesterday, and it came back to bite us pretty good. I was just waiting until 5:30 hit to get in front of the TV and watch a little golf. So from 9 a.m. to 5:30 was tough, corralling the kids and getting them in line with the 1-year-old, especially out there. It's really why I have a newfound appreciation for Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning. Zero Res has been out to my house a couple of times, done a great job cleaning my carpets, an area rug for me, also the tiles in the kitchen and the bathroom. And how Zero Res does it with a powered water system, no harsh chemicals involved, especially appreciated with the 8, 6, and 1-year-old boys at my house because they're always on the floor, and especially that 1-year-old now terrorizing us and picking up stuff on the floor all the time, putting it in his mouth. There was a bouncy ball involved yesterday that we were making sure it wasn't going to be an issue. Fortunately, we didn't have an emergency situation there. Also fortunate that Zero Res has given us that fresh, clean feel at our house. I especially recommend it in the summer where there are all kinds of things going on at our house. I'm guessing yours might be similar. Check them out, ZeroResColumbia.com. You can book your appointment today. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, only $119, plus a free hallway. When you mention me, Tim Hill, give them a call at 803-262-4020. That's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Just a beautiful scene there. You getting in the old traffic updates this morning too? Thank you. I guess Steve came by the studio yesterday at some point, didn't see you. And he sent me an email like, I thought somebody was supposed to be in the studio this morning. Like, what was the problem? Like, oh, I guess I just missed it.
What time?
He said he came by at 9 when I know we were doing our Daniel spot yesterday. I'm guessing it was more like 9:15 after you. Your Mr. Peace.
No, I'm reading the one before it. The hard-hitting questions. Is it now okay to boo the players since they're getting paid?
Right.
Right.
It's true, Chad. It's true.
Boo the players. I like that. I like the one Miami fan who is just going to defend this one over the top.
Who's that?
He says if, oh no, I'm sorry. He said if he is a huge Miami fan. I thought he said I'm a huge Miami fan.
Texter has no clue.
You're up.
$500 a month for every single Miami football player to endorse his gym. That's what a local Miami business owner, a guy that's pretty popular in the MMA world, Dan Lambert, has put out there. And he says he's not even trying to pretend. He's just saying he's doing this. He's created a corporation called Back the U to get Miami football back better than Florida State and Florida, who his buddies have been ribbing him about the last couple of decades. Bunch of you weighing in on this, the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. The Miami guy, one of you says, is highlighting that there's no way to distinguish between pay for play and name, image, and likeness. Another of you say college football recruiting has changed overnight. This is going to be wild. Hope these coaches are ready, especially Shane Beamer. And then maybe the most appropriate one that I've seen this morning. Hey, South Carolina, get a GoFundMe going? We should do that.
I'll bring this up in the next hour. I got a question for you on this regarding the social media and what they've got to do to promote.
The probing question coming up next. Trey says there are more rules in Mad Max than there are concerning name, image, and likeness.
Clear.
Somebody hit us up, I think, on the text line about the commercial with Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Rules. Guy takes his shirt off. Please put your shirt back on. There's one rule. Great.
Oh, we're standing.
Great. Another try. Well done.
Oh, I see one of the ducks. There's ducks staring at me.
Most annoying tweet of the day goes to Mark. I put out a tweet last night, thoughts on the match about Montana, and Rodgers, and Mickelson, and Brady, and DeChambeau, Barkley. Mark responded this morning, explain why you dislike Bryson and why Brady doesn't lose well. I didn't see the match. I can assume, but would like to know. With exclamation points. Demanding an explanation.
Needs an explanation.
No thanks, Mark.
Whoa. Haiti's president was assassinated in his home this morning.
Yeah, you see that? I just saw that pop up. I was reading. That's exactly what I was reading right now. And apparently the wife is in the hospital.
What the heck? Is there some political stuff going on in Haiti right now?
Yeah, apparently so. I didn't realize. I haven't been paying attention, but apparently so.
Is there political stuff going on? Easy on the analysis.
All I know is that the USA play them on Sunday at 8:30.
We did or we do?
We do.
Oh, okay.
Didn't they just beat Mexico?
Well, that was a different tournament. That was a first-time tournament. This is the Gold Cup.
How many different tournaments are you gonna have, man?
This is the big one. This is the one that
Hey, also,
we'll end up playing Mexico again in the championship for this one, most likely.
there's only one big one and only one that I follow, and that's the World Cup. And the rest of these are ridiculous.
Well, we have to win this to get into the World Cup. So
Wait a second. But Mexico will have another chance to get into the World Cup?
both of them more than likely will both make the World Cup at this point. But if we were to get bounced in the first round of this Gold Cup, it would not bode well for our chances of. And if you win the Gold Cup, you get into the Confederations Cup, which is the year before the World Cup in the host city. So it's like a very, very good primer for the World
That's why
Cup.
I'll walk off during the breaks.
Unbelievable.
All I know is now there's a cup there's two cups. We could win two cups, maybe a third if we could ever win the World Cup.
No. If you win the Gold Cup, you get to go to the Confederations Cup. But it all helps with your qualifying status for the World Cup.
So if you don't
I don't
win the
know if
Gold
it's
Cup,
gonna
you
go
don't
to-
get to go to the Confederations Cup.
No, you don't get to go if you don't win the Gold Cup.
Ugh.
But you're locked into the World Cup if you win the Gold Cup. So, I mean, that would be nice.
Got it. I'll go back to reading about the Haitian president.
Exactly. It's probably less complicated.
Well, World Cup qualifying is complicated. It's a very long process. But U.S. should be pretty safe. They just need to play well.
Nowadays, saying you don't have to win the Gold Cup to make it to the World Cup. This has no impact on the World Cup. You guys figure your soccer stuff out, will you?
I don't know. If it changed, I don't know then.
And I get it, Trey. Yeah, Brad Guzan played for Carolina. I know. There's always a couple of guys with the local ties. I get it. go back to what? Josh Wolf being on the World Cup team. Clint Mathis. It was the Furman guy, the other Furman guy. Saw him at another Clint, I think, right? Patrick, you got nothing?
I don't know who's from South Carolina.
How dare you?
I'm not from South Carolina.
Soccer, Furman, Clint, Dempsey.
Clint Dempsey went to Furman? What?
Yep.
He's from Texas.
Come on. Verse thyself, Patrick.
Clint Dempsey's from Texas. I was almost positive about that.
Yeah, he's from Texas, went to Furman.
Okay. He's not from South Carolina.
Okay.
What? I didn't even realize he went to college.
Yeah, the best players usually don't, right?
No, and he played in the Premier League.
Nagadocious,
Where's that?
Texas. Not to be confused with Natchitoches on the other side of the border.
East Texas. East Texas just means Houston, right?
Nope. Does. It's also everything, Louisiana border to Texas, basically. I mean, to Dallas, basically. Sherman, Marshall, I believe all East Texas.
They just tell me we're going to the World Cup, right?
It'll start later this fall. Now he's saying.
Where's the World Cup at?
We're good enough.
Is this the Qatar World Cup?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Qatar.
That's why we're having it during the winter, not the summer, because it gets too hot in the summer. They couldn't do it. Is it still the?
Yeah, that's right.
Summers are tough in Qatar.
I did pay attention apparently.
But why you would ever have the Olympics and the World Cup at the same time? I think that's probably the real reason, right? Don't want to have them compete.
Good point.
And have Olympic soccer this year or no? Do we know?
Yeah, there's Olympic soccer. Olympic soccer is weird though. Day, tell us about Olympic soccer. I thought it was 23 and under was the deal with Olympic soccer, and teams don't actually send their best players. It's like actual young guys, I think. I don't think countries care very much about winning the Olympics. I listened to an English person say they would rather win the Euros, not even be in the Olympics, if it means they win the Euros. They couldn't care less about the Olympics.
That was my argument against Jay Phillips a couple years ago.
What?
If I was from Italy, I'd rather win the Euros than the Olympics.
Yeah.
He didn't handle it well.
I think he's wrong. I think you're right. I don't think any of the countries care about the Olympics.
You should call in. Or next time you're producing, bring that hot button topic up to him.
Dave, with a classic tweet. We should go to the World Cup, barring injury to our best players. Isn't that every country in the world saying that?
Nah. Because Germany's like 11 next best 11 players are still better than our best 11.
Gotcha.
Yeah, U23. I was right about that one. Nice. All right, you're up.
A whole new world. That's where we are this morning. Where a Miami businessman has created a corporation called Bring Back to You. And he owns a gym, and he's already offered every single player $500 a month to endorse that gym on social media, which means next to nothing, right?
All right. Well, look, I was going to bring this up. That's what I was going to ask you in the last hour. Who is honestly – the NCAA is not regulating this right now. Is it states or is it the NCAA?
States.
What lucky person in the state? Because I forget how I came up with this, whether it was the live stream or whether it was a text message. and it was trying to decipher pay for play versus endorsing. But I'm guessing some lucky person at the state level now has to monitor 90 Miami football player Twitter, TikTok, Instagram accounts to make sure that they make one post promoting the gym. Just one. All you got to make is one, right? Because if one player doesn't just go on their Twitter and say, "Hey, go work out at America's Home Gym," or I don't, whatever the now you've crossed the line into pay for play, right?
Why? What if they have it in their bio?
What if it's word of mouth?
Why does it?
So
Why
in
does
other words, we don't know. In other words, good. Thank you too for answering that. Nobody knows. Like
no,
But nobody
nobody
said it had to do with social media, did they? That was never part of anything that I read, was it?
to endorse. I believe that's part of the article that I read. That's the plan for.
Yeah, I guess they had.
There's no reason they couldn't just write a super vague contract that says, "Hey, if someone asks you what gym do you work out at, tell them it's my gym. It's word of mouth advertising, and just don't be sponsored by another gym, and you're good to go." Like,
Right. This is the original social media. Just talk to people about it. But it does say in the article that I'm reading on ESPN, the $500 per month is to advertise his gyms, talking about Dan Lambert, the owner of American Top Team, on social media. But yeah, there is going to be no state regulator checking up on this. It's impossible. It's the dumbest thing
Well, it's
about
not impossible. What do you mean it's impossible? It's not impossible. I mean, it's actually
is
a very easy
highly-
thing. You look at their social media account. Do they have one? Would they have one tweet? It's not impossible.
Here's what I've done before. I've tried to look up players on social media because I've seen maybe that someone put out a questionable or newsworthy or whatever. Sometimes it is really difficult to track down a player's handle on social media, right? And who says they didn't create another account that has one follower where they did this, right? And you're going to try to call them out on another, and then you were on Twitter, but now there's a new social media platform called who knows what, right? There's no way. There's no way to legitimize that this is happening. And this is what I appreciate about this Miami business owner, Dan Lambert, saying, yeah, it's not for my business. This is to get the program I love back to the place where I don't have to hear it from my Florida State and Florida buddies anymore.
Yeah, and that's fine. Although he'll hear it from them after the opening game, after Alabama mops the floor with them. But the bottom line is on this. And this is where I'll continue to go. There has to be regulation. Part of the contract states that or at least in the ESPN article, we haven't seen the contract, but in the ESPN article, it states this is to be promoted through social media. Otherwise, he's just paying players. Otherwise, he's no different than Devin Shapiro. And
right, he's already doing that.
But now you're saying it's above board. Now it's legal to do this. There's a difference
right.
there, Tim. There has to be when you endorse somebody, that player now has to follow through on the contract.
Right. But
somebody has the
Vegas contract of all time.
Somebody has to monitor this right now because as we know, it's written into legislation. Well, I forget how many states, 30 states, I think, but it's definitely in Florida. And so that does mean somebody has to monitor it and then I guess report back to the NCAA. Otherwise, it's pay for play. You may as well otherwise you're just giving a player money for nothing.
Look, this is the problem with the NCAA not getting out in front of this. And I have no sympathy for them. None. And I guess they're trying to put it back on the lawmakers now to make a federal law to sweep across the country and say, this is how it needs to be set up to avoid just what you're talking about. But obviously, business owners see their opportunity to make a huge impact and an immediate impact. Like you talked about, Bill, there's a wide receiver out there right now who's being recruited by South Carolina and Miami. You telling me $500 a month isn't going to factor into the decision? I get it if you're at a financial place where $500 a month, maybe you say that no way that could be a deciding factor. I'm going to my 18-year-old brain and say, oh, wait, whoa. No way. That's definitely a huge factor. And then it could also be the tip of the iceberg. That's what this gym owner's hoping, because that's why he created the corporation, to rally other local business people. And there's plenty of money in Miami. We all know that. And I think we had an Alabama fan, Todd, hit us up early and saying, "Oh, this is going to be terrible for college football." I think that's the concern for a program like Alabama or Ohio State, the big boy in college football. Put Clemson right in there right now, who've been dominating, right? That other programs are going to figure out ways.
Catch up. Everything's fine as it is right now. Why would we
Right.
change anything, guys?
Because it's really fair right now. Now it's going to be unfair. Get out. Now the money's going straight to the player as opposed to the athletic. And
Yeah, but it was going
No, I
straight
think
to the player. It was going straight to the player to begin with. It was just going straight to the player.
Now
under
we
the
just-
table. Now it's just
right now, we know
the player
about it.
over the table. Like the money was going, and probably more money to begin with. So the player may actually, in the long run, be losing on this deal if you just go by the Cam Newton standards. I guess it technically went to his dad, but for all we know, the player is actually losing on this deal of now being taxed and it maybe being a little less.
Not in Miami.
But these,
I don't
what
know,
these
man.
business
I don't,
owners can come up with.
They don't have income tax there, right? Isn't that the whole
That's right,
thing?
state income tax, right?
Well, I mean, what are they going to donate to the school anyway for? What's Dan Lambert going to give money to the University of Miami so they can upgrade the Dolphins Stadium?
Well, Nevin Shapiro was doing it, and he was having a statue or a room named after him, a building named after him, whatever. It was to increase the facilities, which we've
well,
seen has a major impact on college football programs.
yeah, he liked, if you go back and watch that, he liked just being around
Donna
whatever the
Shalele.
Yeah, like being around the athletic director, like basically being known as the guy who was basically running the athletic department.
Right, and clearly now Dan Lambert wants to be that guy, right?
No, because he doesn't care about basketball or baseball or softball, or all he cares
Or
about
football.
is football.
For football, he
All he
wants to
cares.
be the guy. And you can guarantee there's somebody at Clemson today, there's somebody in Columbia or around the University of South Carolina, at Auburn, at Alabama, looking over and say, hey, they got a guy. They got a guy who's out there already at Miami. I need to be that guy. If Miami has a corporation out there called Bring Back the U, how many other corporations out there are going to be developed, are going to come into existence, are going to be begun now because of this? And then what can the NCAA do, I guess, is my question. Because you're right, Bill. Ultimately, this is basically pay for play. This is, hey, if I'm putting the offer out there for the entire team, you know the deal. So how can you stop it is my question, because I saw yesterday that the Arkansas offensive linemen are going to be do endorsements for a local barbecue company. Now, can you do it for the entire position, but you can't do it for the entire team? That doesn't make any sense. And are you saying that it has to be individually based because otherwise it's going to be so shady that it's going to be across the board? How they got in real trouble here is they're saying that these deals can't be done as a recruiting enticement, right? But if there's already in place deals when you are on the team, it doesn't take. My 6-year-old can connect those dots real quick and say, oh, well, they're going to get that deal if they go to that program. And clearly that's a recruiting enticement.
I saw this yesterday, and I just want to bring this up because I think this is interesting about because as you kept saying corporation, I kept thinking, why did Dan Lambert start a corporation? What's the point of starting a corporation? And as I reread the article now and focus in on 2 specific paragraphs, I understand why he started a corporation. He may not be the one that donates the money to the players after a few years. He may completely back out. He says, this is from the article, Lambert said the offer is the largest marketing effort his MMA business ever has made. He says he's not sure he'll continue to offer the same deal to Miami players in future years, but he already has bigger plans in the works to create a consistent way to provide some money to every player on the Hurricanes roster. Lambert started the corporation Bring Back the U that will solely focus on putting money in the pockets of Miami football players. In other words, I find this fascinating because, again, as you said, Dan Lambert's like, yeah, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to pay them from me for a year. But if I can get all these businesses involved, I'm backing out, and I'm going to have some other people pooling money together to go from this. Which at that point, then I don't quite understand who they're endorsing, which is where you get into the shady part of this. Like, is it now just
right? Hey, bring back the U. Or you just switch businesses. You just rotate them, right? Hey, you own this business, Jim. Here's what we're doing this year. Next year, it's going to be your restaurant. The year after that, it's going to be your car wash. The year after that, it's going to be your car dealership. Simple. We're just rotating when, who pays what, when. And you're right. Why would you say, yeah, this is going to be the deal in perpetuity? Because then Florida State says, you know what, we're giving $600 a month. And Florida says, we got a $700 a month deal for you. And then the numbers keep having to change. Now, ultimately, these resources do come to an end. And that's why I asked you originally, Bill, how many big-time college football programs can compete at this level like this? And you said, realistically, you think half of them could probably do this today, right? If they're seeing the news, they create their own corporation, they call up the lawyer on retainer. Hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do Back the Tide Corporation. Make it happen now. Fill in the blank, right? And then where does it go from there? This is what the NCAA has failed to keep under control, and now it is chaos, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
It's escalating quickly. There's you can't argue with that. You can't. I mean, I don't know what they do to rein it in. I have no clue what they can do to rein this in. I personally, and I think we all agree with this, I think the NCAA wants nothing to do with this. And now it's just I don't know if the NCAA is even going to step in at this point.
I do though, Bill, because it comes down to protecting your money, right? If business owners are going to take all of their resources and pull them directly to the players instead of donating what they've donated before to athletic departments, that's a hit to the bottom line. That's
the schools. That's not the NCAA. That's the school. That's a school issue. Mark Emmert is not tied into one particular school.
The NCAA is the schools, Bill. They're the same thing. Kaiser Sose is, I forget how it goes with the usual suspects. Ray Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. They're the same thing, man. The organization is the schools. It's the school presidents who've made all these decisions and gotten us here in college football through the years. And their lack of foresight has created a situation with what we have today. I didn't think it's going to happen in the first week that basically one guy would come up with the plan to blow it all up, but here we are. And now what happens from here is the question that none of us, I don't think, know the answer. How do you put it back in the bag? How do you close Pandora's box? No idea. 803-404-6100 if you would like to weigh in. Love to hear your thoughts. You can call or text. A lot of them flooding in right now. We're going to look back in 5 years and say, this is what destroyed college sports, Kip says. Really? I don't see it. Changing it, altering it forever? Absolutely. How is it destroying? Again, Will Wade, a basketball coach at LSU, is on tape by federal authorities talking to what? A coach of a player saying we gave him a really strong offer? That's the family-friendly version. What is it? We all know what that means. That's not, hey, he's going to be set up in a really nice dorm, and we've got great meals for these guys. Get out. But now it's $500 a month is what Miami's offering. What's the next domino to fall in this thing? 404-6100. Thoughts about the match yesterday on the golf course and why I don't think I'll ever like Bryson DeChambeau. I think I figured it out. It's the early game here on 107.5 again.
Clear.
Weekend, not far away. The question is, are you ready for it? Are you ready? Maybe if you have your own personal pool in the backyard, are you ready to use it? Is it, something you can have people over and they can enjoy while you grill out, or is it dirty right now? If it's dirty, if you need someone to clean it, I've got just the people from you. Corley Pool Solutions, flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Tracy Corley and his team have been in business for over 20 years. If you call Tracy, you can do it right now, 803-445-8109. You give him a phone call, he will personally get out there. I've seen him do it. He is one of the hardest working men I've ever seen around. He makes sure that he is there for your pool to be clean, for it to be taken care of. And that way, when you're ready to have that cookout this coming weekend, you're ready to have the friends, the relatives, the neighbors, whomever, have them over, enjoy the backyard, enjoy that pool that you've worked so hard to have put in ground to be able to actually relax in it. He's going to make sure it's nice and clean for you. Flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Give him a phone call today, 803-445-8109. That's Corley Pool Solutions. Lake Murray. Lake Murray was the, I forget who was asking earlier. I'm on Lake, behind me is Lake Murray. Part of Lake Murray. Oh, it feels like it's going to be a warm one today. Did the dude just go by and cut the grass again? I hear something, but I don't know what's going on out there. Now I got to get up and see. Oh. Yeah, I think they're doing more yard landscaping. I think I caught that guy a little off guard. Oh my goodness. Oh, and what is MSM? Yeah, he is cutting the grass. He said this guy said MSM is fake news. I did not know what MSM is. Or what I said. Interesting. Is that what MSM? Did I say mainstream media? That makes sense. Okay. I still don't know what I said that prompted that response, but I couldn't figure out what MSM necessarily stood for, but that makes sense. Thank you, Trey. Clearly, I need to pay better attention.
Oh yeah, that was definitely what I meant.
Yes, you did a very serviceable job. And Naked Gun was actually on Friday night. I was watching that. I just happened to catch the perfect time, too, when old Frank Drebin's out there umpiring baseball games. I forgot about the scene where he gets involved in the rundown with the other umpire. They're throwing the ball back and forth. Oh, beach volleyball course. Yeah. Beach volleyball, Olympics. Tim, maybe we'll have to come up with some kind of Olympics that we can do at the house in the background.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got a few more options in your background than we do, I think.
Yeah, you can see off the dock, I guess. You can see if I move, you can see that one boat back behind me. That's the white one right there.
I feel like Patrick and I will have to put targets on the wall behind us and do like backwards target shooting or something, target toss.
Yeah, very limited options in the bedroom. We can play hangman on the whiteboard.
We gotta get you a little basketball goal.
I gotta go get one for my house. All right, we're back. You're up.
Where do we go from here? I was all for paying them, Raj says, thinking it would be university controlled somehow. I didn't know it was going to become chummed waters overnight. Talking about our conversation based out of the news from Miami that the local gym, they're going to offer every Miami football player $500 to advertise his gym via social media. This guy's name is Dan Lambert, who's big into the MMA world, UFC, and has admitted very publicly in the article, read it on ESPN.com, he's doing it. Let's see, the exact quote again is a great one. I'm not looking to profit from this. I got too many Gator and Seminole friends that have been bleeping on me for the last 20 years. I want to reverse it. And he's started a corporation called Bring Back the U with the sole goal of getting the football program back to national championship contending set. And this clearly is going to help that. And that is exactly what the NCAA wanted to avoid with the name, image, likeness delineation, right? Being able to get paid for that. It shouldn't, one of the rules is, or one of the goals is that it shouldn't have anything to do with recruiting, right? Can't be a recruiting advantage. And when there is a team-based agreement in place, then obviously it's going to be immediately. But how do you avoid that? I mean, shouldn't Arkansas offensive lineman be able to endorse the local barbecue place? I think so. Makes sense to me. I would think every barbecue place in a college town would want to be in business with their offensive line in town as well. Natural fit. But then how can you say, well, your position group can have, I mean, are you going to limit it to, I mean, are you going to make a limit like, can't be more than a dozen people involved in an agreement? Where are you getting that number from, right? An entire offense be signed up, entire defense. Bill, you mentioned, all right, so this offer right now is for everybody on scholarship with Miami football. Will they end up cutting that in half and say, yeah, this is not worth it? Those other 40 guys are not even playing. You just go, just the starters, 25 guys. What will other football program fans, and somebody hit us up earlier too and mentioned alumni. Obviously, you don't have to be an alumni to have a business and to offer this stuff out there, so it's not relegated to that.
All right.
What will other football programs do, or fans of football programs do, is the question. And then how will coaches react? Like, what is Manny Diaz? You know he's going to be asked about this if he hasn't already, right? Hey, what do you think of the deal that Dan Lambert's putting out there and the Bring Back the U Corporation? What kind of position does that put a head coach in, man? Whew, I can't imagine. Bill, you're going to say something?
Well, I think it was, his name is Brad. I was trying to, Brad on Twitter hit me up and said, if businesses don't see an ROI, they will stop paying out money. This is totally new, so I feel it will eventually work itself out in the end. Businesses don't lose money on purpose. He's true about it. I agree with that. But again, this guy for Miami, has already basically come out and been like, yeah, I'm not doing this for any kind of return on investment other than winning football games. Like, he is not expecting his business. He really doesn't care if his business profits from this or doesn't. This is all about bringing good football players to Miami to play for them. And
That's what he said.
I do wonder how many other business owners will follow that kind of model of like, hey, I'm just going to use company funds here to try and get players to our university.
And you can't use the rationale of all businesses, right? Because when it comes to college football, the super wealthy are the power brokers already, right? They're the massive boosters that have been controlling college football for decades. You got to think like, hey, what is the Arkansas basketball arena called? Isn't that Walton Arena from the Walmart family? There's plenty of money there that they're not looking for a return on. They don't have to look for a return on investment, right? T. Boone Pickens is the name you brought up a little bit earlier, Patrick. I think the family basically behind Oklahoma State and all of their money. They're not going to be looking for an immediate investment on their name, image, likeness tracks. They're going to be looking for wins. They're going to be looking to attract the best players and give them the best deals. And I guarantee you, as we sit here this morning, haven't already been in discussions around the country, there is, all right, here's the deal at Miami. How are we going to get our guys better deals? What are we going to do? Who do we need to call? What do we need to set up? Corporation? Let's do it. Call the lawyers. How many guys we need? 5, 6? Let's get all the big money guys that we've already been talking to for years and years and years about donating money and then getting behind a coach or saying, hey, this coach is not winning enough. We got to get the athletic director on the phone. We got to get that guy out of there. Now it's just done a little differently, but a little bit more above board, I think, possibly, unless the NCAA can get a handle on this. And I don't think so now that we're to this point. Do you?
No, and I'm with you. And I'm just sitting here as we are talking about this, different thoughts come into my head, different things kind of, as you kind of touch on them. Like, for example, one of the things you talked about this morning is now money not going to the university, but instead going to the player. Well, now that booster doesn't have, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong on this, doesn't have as much influence on the university as he or she once did. So like you said, going to the university and saying, well, hey, I'm donating $1 million or, 500,000 or whatever, throw whatever number you want out there, but I'm donating this to the university. Well, I'm going to cut my funds if you don't fire said coach. Well, that donor now doesn't have, if he or she has stopped giving that money and reallocated it back toward a player, in this case, $540,000, I don't know if this guy is donating another large chunk to the University of Miami, is putting it into a practice facility or something. But I only say that because now if you've reallocated your money, like, well, I'm not going to give it to the school, I'm going to send it directly to the players. You don't have as much power with the university to show up at the athletic director's door and say, hey, we're not happy with Manny Diaz. We got to get him out of there, because the athletic director is going to go, well, how much do you donate to our university this year? We don't care. We don't care if you're donating to the player. We want it going into our pot so we can pay our employees, upgrade our facilities, do what we need to. You're paying the players. Go talk to them.
Alan hits us up on the YouTube live stream. I have a feeling University of Texas is going to be blowing up with big-time oil people getting recruits to Texas. Alan, that didn't just happen today. That's been happening for a long time. But you're right. Now there's going to be some sort of corporation, I'm guessing, with these big-time oil executives involved, or Texas A&M in there, I think, at the top of the list and the most relevant to the Gamecocks being the permanent opponent on the other side. No doubt, man. No doubt. It's crazy to think about, for sure. Other big story today was the match from last night. I'm gathering most of you did not tune in for certainly a lot of it. Patrick, I know you said you didn't watch a second of it, Bill. You said you were kind of in and out and caught some of it. I mean, it was a 5-hour match, first of all, which is a lot to ask. And the way that it's set up, it has the downtime in between shots. To me, it gives a lot of opportunities to hit the old channel change button. But because of who was involved, it kept me invested yesterday. because I think they're all four fascinating personalities. Bill, you kind of touched on it earlier. Phil Mickelson, it certainly helped that he won the PGA recently and is now 51 years old, continuing to play at the highest level. And knowing everything he's done through the decades, to me, he was the main draw on this thing. But then, kind of 1B was Aaron Rodgers. Because of the situation he's in, I wanted to see how much he would talk about it. They did get to it eventually. I think it was probably hole 15 or 16 or so. Charles Barkley tried to sneak it in at one point, and Aaron Rodgers either didn't hear him or I'm guessing just moved on. Then they did kind of – they would have these conversations when the guys were in their carts kind of between shots where they would be going back and forth with the studio announcers or the on-course announcers. And that's where they did mention the situation that Aaron was in, and he was talking about, I'm just out here to kind of have fun and play golf, and, we'll see. He basically put it like that. We'll see what happens. And wasn't pressed on it much more than that. But so he was my second biggest draw. Then you got Brady and the interaction with him, and Brady had a great little shot that you've probably seen one of the clips of. I think it was the most replayed clip out of there. I guess Rob Gronkowski was on briefly. He was at his nephew's baseball game or something. He was on via phone. And so they were trying to get Brady and Gronk to go back and forth. And Brady was like, Gronk, I hope you're working out over there. And Gronk was like, what are you talking about? You're the one that's on the golf course and the whole thing. And then Brady's like, what do you mean? I'm doing research. The 30 yards away from me is the leader of the Packers, I think.
Yeah.
Took a bit of a shot there. So all of that interaction. And then you throw the fourth biggest attraction out of the four there was Bryson DeChambeau. And knowing what he has been to golf and what he is, Brooks Koepka especially, and I wanted to get a better sense of who he is on the golf course, and I got that yesterday. He's the guy that just tries a little bit too hard. And he's the guy, Bill, I feel like there is always that guy in the foursome. Very rarely is there not that guy in the foursome that is just talking a little bit more than the other three would like. And I think that is DeChambeau in a lot of ways. And yet he doesn't know it and still tries to come off as the cool guy. And like, hey, I just hit bombs. And yeah, that's just all. I got a bad rap, man. I just want to go out there and play. And then he's talking about, taking forever between shots and coming up with a scientific formula of why he should play 10 inches out. And then when he gets over the ball, he sees it differently and he adjusts that to 9.5 inches. And then he tries to come off. It's like, and yeah, just hit the putt. Yeah, that's it. And then it cut to Aaron Rodgers giving the old crazy sign.
But Bryson called his parents afterwards and said, those guys loved me. Did you watch?
Yeah, right.
They think I'm the man.
I think that was really good for my image.
I did wonder like how this exactly went down, because you had the Koepka thing, like the sorry bro or whatever he sent to Aaron Rodgers. And like if Rodgers' agent, was like, hey, they want you to play in the match. You're going to play with Mickelson and Tom Brady, but they're working on getting you a fourth. We'll tell you who it is. And then he calls back. He's like, hey man, so it's going to be Bryson DeChambeau. Like, because there were times I was like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be having that much fun with Bryson DeChambeau. It's like he likes the other two better. I was, for a few holes, I was interested in the dynamics of Rodgers and Brady, just to see, like, they've competed against each other. And so that there's some kind of mutual respect. I don't know how much of a friendship, but like to see how that would work. And, like you said, it was kind of awkward, I guess, discussion at times. At times it flowed naturally. I did feel like Mickelson was kind of the person in the middle, like making everything kind of go and work. But you also got the feeling a couple times with Rodgers that you're like, he would almost give like a side look at DeChambeau and just be like, this guy. Yeah. There's nobody else available today to come out here and play. Like,
to me, the ultimate test is going to be if we see Rodgers and DeChambeau paired in this thing again, which I would imagine that conversation goes like this. Aaron Rodgers, agent, hey, you got another great offer to do the match 5. Going to be the same kind of deals last time. You in? Aaron Rodgers would be like, how much? Nah, tell him to double it. That's the only way I can do it. Double it, man.
Don't you just want to see Bryson in the locker room how he interacts with the other golfers, or like
No.
at the champions dinner at the Masters, like how bummed people are when they look at the table setting and see B. DeChambeau sitting next to them.
No, because I feel bad for him. It's cringeworthy. I feel bad for him because he doesn't know. I think he honestly doesn't get it. You know what I
Somebody
mean? When you're in
comes
that
in and switches name card. They get the
Yeah, they
name
move
card.
it around.
Man, I'm gonna go put this next to somebody else down here and switch.
he just doesn't get it.
Have
How
you seen his YouTube channel? Oh, it's
I
so
haven't.
cringeworthy. It's just terrible. I mean, he just wants to be a bro so bad and just doing way too much. I mean, you got Tom Brady, who is super cool with his UGG sponsorships, and he's just the man, the GOAT, greatest of all time, like just oozes cool. Phil Mickelson's like that old man who loves to gamble, and just everybody loves Phil, and he clearly is the one who was doing all the chirping. Like he was the only one that made it sound like they were actually his words. And then Rodgers is out here hanging out with Miles Teller all summer long with his Hollywood wife, and just cool dude, couldn't care less about anything. And then Bryson just comes in, bothering everybody, doesn't shut up. And it started with his helicopter. The first thing I saw was a video of him hopping on a helicopter doing his little whatever he was doing. Sorry, that was for the live stream. That wasn't good radio. But
was that hand motion?
this is what he did when he got on the radio, when he got on the helicopter.
The hang loose.
The hang loose thing, yeah.
My
Dude,
favorite
just-
part probably of yesterday to kind of sum that up is Aaron Rodgers. It was a putt that was already conceded to Tom Brady, and then Rodgers is walking off, and he can see that Brady's going to putt it anyway, which is classic Tom Brady. Just pretty intense the whole time and trying to compete the best he possibly can. And Rodgers sees that his shadow is in the way between Brady's ball and the hole, and he just kind of waves his hand so the shadow gets in his messes with him. Like that is ultimate like quarterback hijinks stuff that we love and can identify with. There's also always that guy in the group, Bill, and everybody loves that guy for the most. Just having some fun playing golf. It was fun to watch. I like.
Just by the way, 3 weeks from today, the Packers open training camp. Percentage of Aaron Rodgers being at that practice.
It ain't high, and that's what they were trying to nail him down on. The guy who's doing the play-by-play in charge of running that circus was Brian Anderson, and he's a Milwaukee guy. Like people from where I'm at, they want to know. They want to know that they're throwing out dates. It was like I forget the first one was against the Bears.
Because of the Bear.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's the date. The Packers play the Bears. Is number 12 going to be the quarterback? And Aaron Rodgers we'll see. Then the other date was the opener. I forget against who it was. Maybe the Cowboys.
Saints.
The Saints. That's right. We got to see. Is number 12 going to be? We'll see. So the drama only continues, and that's who Aaron Rodgers is in this whole thing with the Packers. And the personalities were on display. I feel like Phil Mickelson is the ultimate troll. Like he's the guy that you never quite figure out if he's asking like a legitimate question. I couldn't quite figure that out if he was like putting on the show for the cameras that people want to actually know how Bryson DeChambeau calculates his things, and he was doing it for Bryson's benefit, or if he was doing it to show off what I totally thought Bryson was, and he thought it would be fun just to mess with him. I feel like he's always that guy that you never know if he's on the up and up about his questions or not. But to me, it was worth the free price of admission to watch that thing for the entire time last night.
Yeah, I think
he'll be back. I'm sure Mickelson is part of this.
Well, this has become his thing. He's won this PGA Championship. That was his send off, kind of. And I don't want to say the same as Tiger winning the Masters, but like. Just the video a couple weeks ago where he's driving. I guess he was in his neighborhood and he's driving to the golf course on his golf cart. He's like, "Hey guys, good morning to you. Heading to the course, just me and Mr. Wanamaker here, just having a good time." And scans over and he's just got the trophy there in the passenger seat. Like I don't want to say he's got nothing left to accomplish, because clearly if he could find a way at some point to win a U.S. Open, he'd complete the career Grand Slam. But also, it feels like you're watching a player who is still competitive, somewhat competitive, but is also just thoroughly enjoying his life and everything that has come with the success. Like you see these guys, like I don't know if you guys watch Tom Brady and are like, man, he is really enjoying it. Like kind of like what you were saying. We know he's intense, I know he's a competitor, but you watch him and I don't know if you would say, yeah, he's out there like thoroughly enjoying what he's doing. Whereas I watch Mickelson, I'm like, man, that guy's just living the life. Like he's made a ton of money. He's won a lot of majors. He did something that nobody else has done, won at an age, and he's just enjoying life, just having a blast.
Goes to a tournament in Detroit, sees a bad article written about him, says, I'm not coming back here anymore. Sorry, guys. This is to punish the guy that wrote the article. I'm just not going to do it. I was trying to help you out, but he ruined it. Sorry. Yeah, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers is the football version of that right now. Like, management, I'm not very happy with you right now. I'm going to let you know. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm there. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I'm just going to make putts, talk a little trash, have some fun doing it, throw out a little shooter every now and again on the golf course, enjoy beating Tom Brady, kind of giggle at him as he throws a fit, hitting some bad shots towards the end. So the match 4, I think, has been the best one out of the matches so far because of the personalities involved. We'll see how long they'll keep this thing going. Obviously, they're raising a ton of money for good causes process. So I think they'll keep it going. And I think Turner Sports probably feels like it's worth it to keep it going as well. We'll see how it continues to evolve. And we're trying to figure out exactly how this name, image, and likeness thing is going to evolve as well, with the Miami News of $500 a player and the Bring Back the U Corporation being developed down there, being started. That got a Gamecock fan thinking. Sean hit us up, says, any of you rich people out there need to get on this. Bring back the Gamecocks Incorporated. That's where we are today. It is the strangest time ever around college sports.
Yeah, stop tweeting at players. Just pay them now.
Yeah.
Time for us to take a final break here. Dramatic conclusion of the show coming up here. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
Clear.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark, about that.
Summer is officially here, but we still have several hot months ahead of us, which raises the question, is your air conditioner ready to keep on rolling into the month of August through September when you know it's going to be scorching hot? If it's not, you better give AAA Heating and Air a call today, 803-677-1500. If there's an issue, and trust me, Roy and Dana will make sure that they are there to get that thing fixed. If there's an issue, great service by the great folks at AAA Heating and Air. The first thing they'll do is offer you a $1,500 rebate to take away your old unit. Then they'll work with you. No money down, no financing, or 0% financing on all of their air conditioning units. That way they can make sure you're comfortable. And they're not putting you in a bad spot. That's treating you like a family member. And finally, if there's an issue in the future, you get a 15-year parts and labor warranty that goes along with it. That's why AAA Heating and Air is my go-to when I need help with my air conditioning unit if something's gone wrong with it. But you know what? Hadn't had to use them. They came out, they inspected it back in April, did a few things, made sure the Freon was correct, and I haven't had to worry about it since. Give them a call today, 803-677-1500. That phone number again, 803-677-1500. Give AAA Heating and Air a call and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Morning and at 11. Now the
Ooh. It's warm sitting right here.
You bet.
We got game 5 tonight, Stanley Cup. Is that right?
Sounds
Yeah.
right.
Got Denmark and England at 3:00 in the Stanley Cup tonight. Is that what our sports is basically for today?
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if the cup is not hoisted tonight.
It's back. It's back in Tampa.
Hoisted.
Andy's got tickets.
Nice.
I think Tampa's going to come out and just destroy them.
Oh, you got Federer. Djokovic is playing right now, and then Federer follows him.
What round are we in? 32?
Quarters.
Huge.
Already quarters? So when will Federer and Djokovic meet up? Not until the finals?
No, I think they would meet before the finals.
What other big names? Is Nadal still alive? He could be. Even playing? I don't know.
Yeah, so I was reading the ESPN article just to see what's going on today for no NBA tonight.
Yeah, they'd play. Federer would play probably Matteo Berrettini, who's very good. And then Djokovic would play this Canadian Denis Shapovalov.
Of course.
They would meet in the finals. If Berrettini and Federer would be a difficult match. That's who he was supposed to play. I think that's who he was supposed to play in the French Open when he just dropped out because he didn't feel like playing anymore. You're up.
You know who would have some interesting thoughts on name, image, likeness? Frank Martin. He's set to meet the media a little later today. Oh, I'm guessing we're going to hear some interesting comments, especially because Frank Martin knows Dan Lambert. I think Frank is a big Jorge Masvidal fan to begin with in UFC, and so I'm sure he knows him. I feel like Frank knows everybody in Miami, having grown up there and being who he is. So we might get a very interesting insight into what's going on in our conversation today. Dan Lambert is the gym owner down in Miami, big into the world of UFC, and has put the offer out there, $500 a month for every Miami football player. Started a corporation called Bring Back the U, wants to get a bunch of local business people involved, basically get Miami football back to national contention. And he said he's tired of hearing it from his Florida State and Florida buddies the last couple of decades. So what does that mean for Gamecock football moving forward? I was reading on Gamecock Central, Ryan Brubaker, and going into his commitment, and I feel like it's now from a different era because he's talking about he just felt a very strong connection to the university, and in his gut, it just felt like the place to be. How do programs now adjust to this name, image, and likeness thing? Bill, I never thought we would ever in my life be talking about Gamecock football players who are now official endorsers of underwear, and how Miami football is getting $500 a month. How Miami football players getting $500 a month to endorse a local team.
Took a pay cut. Had to take a pay cut.
At Miami.
Somewhere, yeah. Uncle Luke is not pleased probably right now. He's thinking, I pay $500. That was a daily expense.
Like you said, it escalated quickly, this name, image, and likeness stuff. Will the NCAA ever be able to get a hold on it? Who knows? Thanks for listening to the Early Game. Dan Patrick Show. Coming up next year on 107.5.
All right, you're clear.
That'll do that. Anthony, thanks, man. And you didn't have to throw in that last part, but when a pitcher comes in and throws 8 strikes out of 20, not a good sign.
Typically doesn't go well. Is that a rule in baseball?
Walk in the winning run. That was brutal last night for the Braves. Thank you guys for helping us out this morning, checking out the live stream. We'll do it again tomorrow. See you guys.